Audible? Can some of you send yes in the chat box so that I can continue? Okay, fine. So yesterday we were discussing about what is polity. Polity is public decision making process in order to resolve public conflicts. And law is the common rules made in the country in order to manage the country or manage the society. Okay, so that is what we call it as a law. It's a common set of rules. So we were also talking about three things: executive, legislature, judiciary. These three constitutes as principal organs of the state. Okay. Now the question is whether only executive, legislature, judiciary is involved in making a public decision or resolving a public conflict. No. Actually, we have certain bodies established by the constitution like election commission, UPSC, Comptroller and Auditor General. Okay. Like that, we have various institutions created by the constitution. They also help in polity, in public decision making process, in our day-to-day governance activities. These institutions also help. In election commission conducts the election, UPSC selects the appropriate candidates, so on. So these bodies are called as constitutional bodies. These bodies are called as constitutional body. Now some of you may ask, sir, what is constitutional body? Constitutional bodies are those which is created by the constitution. Constitutional bodies are those institutions which is created by the constitution. Okay. Then we have certain institutions like RBI, Reserve Bank of India, SEBI, Security Exchanges Board of India. The capital market, share market is managed by SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. So RBI, SEBI. Okay, and we have Central Information Commission, CIC, Central Information Commission. Okay, Central Information Commission. Not only this, we have many institutions which are created by law. The other word of law is statute. So any institution which is created by law is called as statutory body. Okay, any institution which is created by law is called as statutory body. So not only principal organs of the state, executive, legislature, judiciary is helping us to resolve conflicts, helping us to create welfare government, but also constitutional bodies help us. So they are also part of polity. Statutory bodies, that is bodies created by law like RBI, SEBI, CIC are also institutions. Okay. CBI, CVC, Central Vigilance Commission. I can keep on quoting a lot of institutions. Simple, an institution created by law is called a statutory body and it is also part of polity. Then we have institutions such as Niti Aayog. What is Niti Aayog? National Institution for Transformation of India. National Institution for Transformation of India. Niti Aayog. Okay. Then we have various commissions, inquiry commissions and commissions established to study a particular problem. Okay, so the committees and commissions that is established. They are all called as non-statutory bodies. Non-statutory bodies. So they are also part of the polity. Okay, non-statutory bodies. So a polity consists of principal organs of the state: executive, legislature, judiciary, then constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, non-statutory bodies. Okay, so these organizations, until this, they are all called as formal institutions in polity. Formal institutions. What is the meaning of the word formal here? Created by the state, something officiated by the state, facilitated by the state. Formal institutions are institutions created by state. When I say state, it involves, okay, it may be constitution, it may be the law, or it may be the non-statutory bodies. Okay. Then there is one more set of organizations called as informal. Okay, informal institutions. Another set of institutions called as informal. See, these 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 are called as formal institutions. There are some other institutions called as informal institutions. Formal institution means institutions created by anybody part of the government. It may be constitution, laws, prime minister, etc., etc. When I say informal institutions, it is created by people. Okay, created by people. Okay, now I want some interaction. When I say informal institutions are those created by people, can any one of you list down what are the institutions, informal institutions involved in our day-to-day politics, our day-to-day public decision making process, day-to-day, whatever is happening in the society, how we are managing, which are the institutions involved? I've talked about what are the formal institutions. You tell me informal institutions. Informal institutions. Yes. Somebody please hand raise. I'll enable your audio so that we can discuss. If possible, please enable your video also, because it will help me to be more interactive. Okay. Now, today,
Good
because
morning,
of
sir.
technical issues, yes. What is your name?
Sir, my name is Shruti.
Okay. Yes, Shruti, please. What are the formal
Sir,
institutions?
I think informal
Yes.
institutions, sir, it's my guess. I think it includes the NGOs, non-governmental organizations,
Very
the
good.
SHGs like self-helping groups,
Good.
SHGs, self-helping groups. So these are the things I know broadly, like pressure groups all will come in
Very
that.
good. Very good.
Only these two I know, sir.
Okay. Think of something very important now when it comes to politics. Okay, I'll give chance to somebody else.
Okay.
Good. Shruti, thank you for that. Okay, I've given 2 points. I'll explain these 2 points for all later. Now, I want some other aspirant to tell me what is an informal institution, and or example for an informal institution. Please try, because I told you informal institutions are those institutions created by people to take part in politics. Okay, we have 2 points here now, NGOs and pressure groups. There are other points. Can anybody tell me that? Please raise your hand. Yes, please tell your name and interact with me.
My name is Maheshwar.
Maheshwar. But before talking to Maheshwar, I want to tell all other students, you have to log in with your unique ID. You should not log in with your names. We have some technical problem here. So we request all the students to log in with unique IDs. Okay, so since only unique IDs are displaying, whenever you are interacting with me, first tell your name and then interact. It'll be easy for me to talk to you. Okay, fine. Yes, Maheshwar, please tell me.
I think it is the Gram Sabhas and the village panchayats. Also,
Wait a minute. Gram Sabha and village panchayat will come under constitutional body because it is created by the constitution. It's created by the constitution. Okay, so try something else.
I thought of self-helping groups, which the previous aspirant already said, and NGOs, the same thing.
Okay, wait for some time. We have an announcement from Chandru sir. Then we can continue the class.
Good morning. There are a few announcements. First one regarding CSAT. Tomorrow we are starting CSAT. Timing will be 2 to 4. So those who are already enrolled, if you want, you can join in next batch. And this batch. And if you are interested to join later, next batch will start from October 1st. Okay. And again, same like GS, in CSAT also, the same topics will be repeated. Okay. And optionals will be started from August 28th. Okay. That is a regular optionals. 29th, weekend optionals. Okay. So any doubt regarding this? Okay. Yes. Okay, enable பண்ணுங்க. Please tell me.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, in the optional you will provide demo classes.
Yes, optional demo class will start from August first week. So daily, one optional demo will be conducted. We will give you separate schedule for optional demo also. So first you can attend optional demo, whatever subject you want. Then you decide, and accordingly you can enroll for optional.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hello.
No, I don't have any doubt regarding this action itself. It's regarding the class.
Regarding class, okay.
Yes, yes. Not regarding options. I was raising the hand to answer the questions of the class.
I couldn't get you.
I was raising my hand to answer the questions of class, polity class, not regarding options.
Okay. So you are asking for polity class. Okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
உங்களை தான் கூப்பிடுறாங்க.
Okay. Yes. You can proceed with your answer. Please tell your name and then you can continue the answer.
Sir, I have doubt regarding CSAT, sir. I already raised the hand, but my name is Sivapriya, sir.
சொல்லுங்க.
Sir, சாரி சார், நான் அப்பயே ஹேண்ட் ரைஸ் பண்ண, ஆனா வேற யாருக்கும் மியூட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க.
Okay, okay, okay.
சார் டெய்லி கிளாஸ் இருக்குமா சார், இல்ல
Daily 2 to 4.
டெய்லி 2 to 4 ரெக்கார்டட் வீடியோஸ் அதுக்கும் அனுப்புவாங்க, அப்படிதானே சார்?
ஆமா.
ஓகே சார். எவ்வளவு நாள் சார் இந்த கோர்ஸ் டியூரேஷன்?
CSAT duration will be 3 months.
3 months. ஓகே சார். தேங்க்யூ சார், தேங்க்யூ.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's continue. We are talking about informal institutions. Informal institutions are something which is created by the people. So NGOs, pressure groups, and we have very important political parties. Actually, this is very important. I expected that you would say political parties as the first point, or I can understand, because when we defined polity, we said those institutions which help us to resolve public conflicts are part of polity, we said. So when I asked what are the informal institutions, you might have confused, because political parties, instead of resolving the conflict, they only are creating conflict among the people. So some of you, even though you have thought political parties as the answer, you might not have, but as per the Indian polity definition, political parties also come under the definition. Political parties comes under the definition of informal institutions. So political parties, then is good. We have media. Media is also a informal institution. Media is also an informal institution. Okay. Media is also an informal institution. Now, we have some media which plays only movies, which plays only song. Can we say that they are part of Indian polity? No. Only those media which is either producing or giving news to the people or analyzing the news, like conducting the debate shows and other things. Example, the Republic, recently the News 18 channel in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so they all can be called as informal institutions, a part of polity. NGOs also, not all NGOs work with the government, work in relation with government. Some NGOs work exclusively, separately from the government, independently from the government. Such NGOs also cannot be called as polity. Only those NGOs which is working with the government, we can call them as informal institutions in polity. Political parties. Okay, fine. Now, what is a pressure group? Some of you may be thinking, what is a pressure group? Pressure groups are organizations which take part in politics, which tries to influence people's opinion, but they will not take part in electoral politics. Pressure groups, no electoral politics. What do you mean by electoral politics? Meaning, they will not contest in elections. While political parties contest in election and contest here. Okay, they do not contest in elections. Okay, pressure groups does not contest in elections. I think now you are clear. Okay, what is a pressure group? To give example for pressure group, RSS is a pressure group, BJP is a political party. BJP contests in election, RSS they never contest in election, but they influence the political decisions, people's public opinion. Every other social problem, public problem, they come out with an opinion, they come out with a protest. In case of Tamil Nadu, DMK is a political party, DK, Dravidar Kazhagam, is a pressure group. In the national level, FICCI, Federation of Indian Chambers Commerce of India, is a pressure group. And we may say this, AITUC, All India Trade Union Congress for Workers, AITUC, is a pressure group. NASSCOM, the Association of IT Companies, is a pressure group. Before budget, we find all these corporate associations, IT company associations, AITUC, they go and talk with the finance minister, try to influence the budget decisions of the government. Okay, so that is called as pressure group. So a pressure group, they take part in the public decision making process, either by protest, petitions, persuasion, in any form. They try to influence the government, but they do not take part in the electoral politics. So that is the pressure group. Now very important, all these things which I talked about, no, all the informal institutions, okay, the political parties, NGO, pressure groups, media, etc., they are all called as civil society. Overall civil society, okay, political party, pressure groups, okay, political party, pressure groups. Then we have media, NGO, okay, even cultural organizations, okay, you can say. Okay, they may also come inside the pressure group. Okay, fine. Now they are called as civil society. They are called as civil society. The other name for informal institutions in Indian polity is civil society. What is the meaning of the word civil? The word civil means active in politics. Okay. So now and all in CBSC, NCRT, they are calling the book dealing with politics as social and political life. In simple words, social and political life of citizens. Okay. Earlier and all, we used to call it civics. The part which talks about people and government, that part of the syllabus was called as civics. Civics or civil means active in politics. The political and social life of people. So civil society is whenever people organize themselves to take part in politics, it is called as civil society. So even social movements, protests by the people can also be called as civil society. It comes under the civil society because people try to influence the government. So recently there was a double murder case in Tuticorin district. Okay, where the cases are filed against the police itself because of the activity of people in social media. Okay, so we can say that it is a civil society movement also. For that matter, if some of you ask, sir, Facebook, WhatsApp, whether it is a civil society, yes, as long as Facebook and WhatsApp deals with the influencing the public decision, the governance process, that part of the activities can be called as civil society activity. Sometimes, you know, you go for a birthday party and take pictures and share it in Facebook. That cannot be called as a civil society activity, okay, or a civil activity. It is a personal activity. So as long as content in the Facebook and WhatsApp is related to governance, influencing the public decision, we can very well call them part of civil society. For that matter, even social movements and protests can be called as part of civil society. Okay, so please take note. Okay, civil society. What is a civil society? Any organization. Please take note. I'm repeating. Civil society is any organization between individual and government. Civil society is any organization between individual and the government which influences the decision making process. Which influences the decision making process. Okay. Now if we ask, sir, political party, can we call it as a civil society? Yes, we can very well call it as a civil society for definitional purposes. But however, political parties also take part in the governance process directly also, okay, because they contest. In the newspapers, they always write political party differently. When they mean civil society, it is meaning the newspaper means that any other organization apart from political party which is involving in decision making process. Okay, so have you understood? Yes. So now where we are coming is, okay, so what are the components of polity? Principal organs of the state, constitutional body, statutory body, non-statutory body, and informal institutions. And these four is called as formal institutions. Okay. Now, to put it short, polity involves formal institutions. So this diagram is very important. So even if you have not made the copy down the diagrams earlier, this is very important. This summarizes our entire discussion. Polity, the components of polity involves formal institutions, informal institutions, and interaction between them. Interaction between them. Okay, formal institutions, okay, it's interaction between them. So formal institutions you know, informal institutions you know, and I'll explain what is interaction between them. Let us take an example, okay. So any current event, can anybody just talk about any current affairs related to polity? You just tell me the headlines. With that headlines, I'll explain the what is formal institution, what is informal institution, what is interaction between them. Please raise hand and tell me. You just quote any current affairs related to polity. Related to polity. I don't want you to explain, just mention the issue. We will use that example and explain it.
Sir, today I read a news on Supreme Court. Rajasthan government appealed in Supreme Court against Sachin Pilot.
Very good.
Decision.
Your name?
Maheshwar.
Maheshwar, good. So Maheshwar. Yes, Maheshwar.
Yes, sir, that's the news I read. Another
Thank you.
one is same related.
Yeah, please continue. After you finish, I'll speak.
Another also same thing. A court has convicted 11 persons the same Rajasthan district for murder case. I guess today in the Hindu paper, 11 persons got convicted for a court.
Yeah, for killing a royal, ex-royal person, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
correct.
shooting. Okay, yes, fine. Very good, very good. I'm happy that you guys are reading newspaper. Fine. So let me explain. Let us take the Rajasthan case. In Rajasthan, under Sachin Pilot, some MLAs have defected. Now Speaker wants to take a decision. Speaker belongs to Congress, so he wants to take a decision. But the High Court has said, you please wait. So now they've gone to the Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court today will be telling whether the High Court's decision is correct, whether Speaker can go ahead with the decision. It is called as anti-defection. Okay. See, this problem was there in 1980s also. First, government will be formed, but some MLAs from the ruling party will jump to other party, and the ruling party will be dismantled. The opposition party, which have got fewer seats, will come to the government. So, whichever party is at the national level will do this. Okay, it was a problem in 1980. So, in 1985, a law was brought, anti-defection law. So, whoever is shifting loyalties to one party to another party. Supposing I am contesting the election with Congress party ticket and jumping to BJP or vice versa. That would be amount to defection. Defection is jumping from one political party to another political party. So that will be subjected to disqualification. The MLA post itself will be gone. And who can decide on this disqualification? Speaker. Now this is the law. So now let us see in this issue what are the formal and informal institutions are involved. First formal institution is law. Anti-defection law. As I said, law is the basic tool with which we resolve the conflict. So the problem of defection is resolved by anti-defection law. This is one component of polity. Then we have State Legislative Assembly, which is a formal institution. Then Office of Speaker, which is a formal institution. We can say it is a constitutional body. Okay, it is part of the constitutional body. Constitution creates the Office of Speaker. So that constitutional body also comes under formal institution. Then we have Congress political party and BJP. Congress and BJP. They will come under informal institution. Supreme Court and High Court. If anybody is on air, they will come under which institution? Formal institution, informal institution, or yes, it will come under formal institution. Supreme Court is a formal institution because it is a principal organ of the state created by constitution. It comes under formal institution. Then there are some people who write in media, in newspapers, okay, in Times of India, the Hindu, and in the electronic media. They have debates related whether this defection is correct or not, whether Office of Speaker is performing its function perfectly, High Court's decision whether it is correct or not. So there is a debate in newspapers and electronic media. So we can say media is also involved. So now there is an issue whether Congress government should continue, whether what has happened, the action of Sachin Pilot is correct or not. It is a political aspect, okay, some polity, something which is happening in polity. Whether they should be disqualified or not, that is also a political question. All these questions will be decided through the interaction between all these things. Okay, the law will be interpreted by court. The political parties will file a case in the court. The speaker also will defend the case. The MLA Sachin Pilot and his supporters, they have filed a caveat petition. Caveat means it's like a information, okay, or warning to the court, telling the court, I am also a party involved. So whenever you are taking decision, please inform me whatever you are taking. Don't exclude me because I am party to this problem. So somebody else is filing a case. Court has to decide. Before court is deciding, court should hear that person. So if supposing I am concerned with this case, okay, I can go and file a caveat telling that I am also an affected party as a citizen of this country. So please inform me. Please take my opinion also before final decision. So such petition is what is called as caveat petition. So caveat petition, it is a formal institution created by law. Okay, CRPC and IPC and various other acts have allowed for caveat petition. So it is a formal institution, formally allowed by the government, caveat petition. Political parties are involved, BJP, Congress, and civil society. So we find all of them are now interacting Okay, the interaction between them is what constitutes the political process, polity. So polity is not just Supreme Court, High Court, political party, media, their functions, but also how they interact, and out of this interaction, what is the final product? That final product will be interaction between them. Okay, so now questions in our subject polity. In prelims examination, there will be direct question from formal institutions, informal institution. What is the function of president? What is the function of speaker? What is the function of a political party? Pressure group, what is the definition? Whether it takes part in electoral politics or not. Like that, direct questions will be asked from the formal institutions and informal institutions. This part, okay, they'll be talking about interaction between, okay, them. This part, questions is for mains exam. Okay, so here they may ask, give 3 statements and say which of the following is this function of speaker. They may give a statement, anti-defection law, the final decision shall be made by the speaker, whether this statement is correct or not. So actually by the law, speaker's decision is final. Okay, but now Supreme Court has taken the case. So in mains examination, how they will ask, whether the speaker's office can act neutrally under anti-defection law, or the recent interference of High Court of Rajasthan in the power of speaker. I'll repeat, the recent interference of High Court of Rajasthan in the power of speaker, whether it has affected the concept of separation of power envisaged in the constitution. I'll repeat the question. The recent interference of Rajasthan High Court in speaker's power, okay, does it dilute the principle of checks and balances? Does it dilute the principles of checks and balances envisaged in the constitution? Here the word check and balance means okay, the courts can interfere in the decisions of the legislature, but not. Okay, I'll repeat the question again. So please be attentive. I'm doing it slowly only. So please be attentive. I'm repeating the question. The recent interference of Rajasthan High Court, in the power of the speaker, comma, does it affect the concept of checks and balances? Does it affect the concept of checks and balances envisaged in the constitution? Envisaged means which is thought over, which is designed in the constitution. Okay, so here checks and balances means judiciary's control over the legislature. So whether judiciary can interfere in speaker or not, clearly they said speaker's decision is final, judiciary cannot interfere. But now judiciary is interfering. So they are asking that the practical aspect of judiciary interfering in speaker's power, whether it is diluted what is given in the constitution. Now don't worry, this is just a second class. So what is the answer that for this? You can try later on, okay, after we discuss speaker's office and other things. Now just the question. If you understand the nature of question, that is enough. And hereafter, like when I come to preamble and all, I'll give you a mains question, and I'll give you how to structure, how it should be answered, and what should be avoided also. I'll teach in the class, so you can practice the answer writing also. So since it's the second class, don't worry about the answer. Now just note down the question. I told the question just to tell you how they are asking question, okay, in the examination. Formal institutions, informal institutions, and interaction between them. Okay, got it? Any doubts? Okay, now now I'm giving you time for asking doubts. So far from the beginning of this session, constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, non-statutory bodies, civil society, and in short, after everything, I have minimized and I've told you what is formal, informal, and interaction between these institutions and how they will ask questions. So I want you to ask doubts so that we can move on to the next part. The next part I will be discussing what exactly the difference between statutory, non-statutory, and constitutional body. Yes. Give me the last 3 numbers, no? So it will be easy. Okay. The person whose unique ID ending 565 can interact now. 565.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sir, non-statutory body or non-constitutional body, both are the same or different?
All statutory, non-statutory bodies, will be called as non-constitutional bodies. Whichever is not a constitutional body is a non-constitutional body. Just in name only.
Then,
as I told you, I'll tell you exactly difference between constitutional, statutory, non-statutory immediately after this doubt clarification session. Okay.
sir, like a statutory body, it is created by law. Then, which one is created by non-statutory body?
Non-statutory body is created by the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers, by Cabinet. Yesterday, we discussed, Parliament is there, Constitution is already there, it is created. Then Parliament, when it is created, it is called as a statutory body. When Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers creates, it is called as a non-statutory body. I'll explain now itself so that there is a full clarification. All of you listen, my students, listen. See, in administration, we give all powers to government. Okay, the Prime Minister Modi and his Council of Ministers, for 5 years, they can rule our country. But sometimes they may take wrong decisions. Sometimes they may take decision for a particular group. Okay, there is a chance. So whenever government is established, they have to be checked by another institution. So that is why we have legislature. See, Council of Ministers is there. Council of Ministers, Council of Ministers is there. That is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Council of Ministers. They have observed, but they have to be checked by Parliament. Okay. I will give you one example. When this epidemic Corona came, there were a lot of citizens who were agitating and attacking the healthcare service providers, doctors, nurses, and sometimes, the government officials, police officials, revenue officials and all. Now, the Prime Minister wanted to punish all these people who are attacking the doctors. But the Prime Minister was not able to do so, or the police officials were not able to do so because the law has not permitted. Whenever the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers exercise the power should be given from Parliament. Parliament should give the power. How the Parliament gives power? By law. It will create a law, and this law will say that, okay, when this kind of situation is occurring, you can go and take a particular action. So the 1897 Epidemic Act, which was created in the British times, it did not have a provision to punish those people who are attacking the doctors or healthcare service providers. No provision is there. Okay, so now, the Prime Minister has to first create law. Okay, instead of law, they are creating ordinance. I will explain what is ordinance. It is also a kind of law. Now, Prime Minister creates that law and then only he acts. He issues orders for the police officials to arrest those people who are creating trouble for the doctors. Okay. So, which means, if we have to give power for some institution, the power can be given only by law, and that law can be created only by Parliament. So, statutory bodies in return means bodies or institutions created by law. In turn, it means institutions which can exercise power or with authorizes some people to exercise power. Statutory bodies has power. Non-statutory bodies, they will be directly created by Prime Minister, not created by law. It is created by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. It is created by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. So, they won't have power. For example, Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is only advisory body, it cannot take any decision. Committees and commissions set up by the government. Okay, leave Finance Commission and some constitutional bodies, some inquiry commissions they are setting. Okay, for studying the economic situation of the country. Some high power economic advisors are set up to advise the government. So such committees are all advisory in nature. For example, during Corona times, the Tamil Nadu Chief Ministers constituted a medical team. The medical expertise team advises the government on what medical measures should be taken, whether lockdown should continue or not. So this committee established by the Chief Minister is a non-statutory body. It is not set up by law. It is set up by the Council of Ministers, Chief Minister and Council of Ministers. They do not have powers. They cannot declare lockdown by themselves. They cannot order for extra testing. They cannot order for starting plasma treatment. From day before yesterday onwards, plasma bank has been started in Tamil Nadu. The order came from Chief Minister, not from the medical expert team. So medical expert team is advisory body. They don't have powers. Okay, then you may be asking, sir, then what is a constitutional body? Okay, so if you take RBI is a statutory body, RBI can work independently, it has certain powers. So when RBI is having a powers, whether it is a non-statutory body or statutory body, anybody, please raise your hand and answer. When RBI has the powers to decide, for example, what would be the lending rate? What would be the lending rate from RBI to banks? What is the percentage? It's decided by RBI. Okay, so some technical terms I may. Yeah, RBI, whether it is a statutory body or non-statutory. Good.
You don't need any law, sir.
Yeah, RBI has a law. RBI has a law. We have an act.
But it should not introduce in the. But it should not introduce in the parliament. So it did not need any approval in parliament, I think.
Okay, as per your knowledge, for what the things you're answering, good. Your thinking is logical, but I have to give you an information. There is an act, RBI Act, Reserve Bank of India Act, already created by Parliament, and RBI is created. And that act has allowed RBI to take decision on, what shall be the repo rate and other things. And now tell me whether RBI is a statutory body or non-statutory body.
Still, it is non-statutory.
See, RBI is an institution created by law, Parliament, and Parliament only says RBI can independently create. So here I said no, Parliament has to give power. So RBI is created by Parliament, and by Parliament assurance only, by Parliament's authority only, power has been given to the RBI's. So RBI exercises its power based on parliamentary law. So any institution which is created by parliamentary law or as power can be called as statutory body. A non-statutory body will have only advisory powers, or I should say exact word, advisory nature. They don't have powers, they can only give advice, they are advisory bodies. But when a body is having power that is given by the parliament, then it is a statutory body. Okay, now can you try again? RBI, whether it is a statutory. Very good, very good. RBI is a statutory body because it is created by law. The powers exercised by RBI. RBI is exercising power. Whenever power comes, it means power can be given only by parliament. If it is a non-statutory body, it cannot exercise power. It can be only advisory. If a body was created by the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, it can be only advisory in nature. It cannot have power. Okay, I gave the example of Niti Aayog, I gave the example of medical expert team in Corona. Okay, they can give only advice, they cannot take decisions. They cannot issue orders which should be implemented by bureaucrats. Okay. So start.
What if sir,
Yeah, please.
sir, what if constitutional body and non-statutory body they have any conflicts like overlapping provisions?
No. I'm coming.
Suppose if you take
Good.
NITI
See.
Aayog and Financial Commission both are advisories.
No.
But they are overlapping things.
No. Finance Commission has the power of civil court. Finance Commission is a constitutional body. It is Finance Commission is established by the Prime Minister. How Prime Minister appoints the Finance Commission? Because Constitution gives power. But Niti Aayog, who gave Prime Minister power? By virtue of Prime Minister. Since he is Prime Minister, he is directly creating. There is no authorization from Constitution or law. Directly Prime Minister creates a committee, creates a commission, creates a body, then it is called as non-statutory body. Constitutional body is created by the Constitution. In Constitution, it may say Prime Minister appoints the Finance Commission, but still it is the Constitution which authorizes the Prime Minister to appoint the Finance Commission. So, non-statutory body is different from constitutional body. So, this is where I am coming. I was actually coming to constitutional body. What is a constitutional body? A constitutional body means, first is it is created by Constitution. Simple. First answer is it is created by Constitution. Now, the second question you have to put is, why it should be created by Constitution? In our country, we have given full powers for the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, but we want some institution to act independent of the Council of Ministers. When I say Council of Ministers, Prime Minister Modi and his Council of Ministers example. Okay, so whichever who's the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Okay, so we want Council of Ministers to act with full independence, but to check they are acting properly or not, to ensure that they are not taking political decisions, to ensure that they are not making any wrong decisions. Certain institutions like Election Commission, UPSC has to work independently. Okay, this word independently is very important in Indian polity. When I say independent functioning, it means without interference of Council of Ministers. So the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, they should not interfere with their functioning. So some bodies are created by the Constitution to ensure independence functioning, independent from the government. That is why they are constitutional bodies. Some bodies should be having powers but should be under overall control of the government. Such bodies will be created by Parliament. Example, RBI, SEBI. They can work independently, but sometimes if the government wants, they can control. Take the example of RBI. So RBI can take some independent decisions, but some financial decisions and all, they have to obey the central government, Council of Ministers. Now, for the advice, and easy functioning, government needs some experts, support people. So those people can be created as non-statutory bodies. And these non-statutory bodies, no powers, only advisory power in nature. And they will be under absolute control of the government. Absolute control of the government. So I am going to consolidate this so that you guys can easily understand. A constitutional body is created by, yes, can any one of you answer me? Fast. Raise your hand. We are going to differentiate between constitutional body, statutory body and non-statutory body. So the first point of differentiation is, we are trying to differentiate it by discussing who creates them. A constitutional body is created by, yes, please hand raise, somebody. Yes. 167.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Please, your name and then give your answer.
My name is Sahana, sir.
Okay. Please continue, Sahana.
Constitutional body is created by Constitution, sir.
Very good. Constitutional body is created by Constitution. And then statutory body is created by
Parliament, sir.
Parliament.
Law.
Law. Very
Law.
good. Very good. Law. The institution which creates law is Parliament. Both answers are correct only. Parliament creates law. Okay. Thereby you are creating statutory institution. Non-statutory institutions is created by?
Directly by the Council of Ministers and Prime Minister, sir.
Yeah. PM and Council of Ministers. In other words, we can call executive order. Right? Because PM and Council of Ministers are executives. Yesterday we saw. PM and Council of Ministers are executives. Very good. Very good. Fine. Okay. So now, with respect to, powers. Okay. Powers. Can we differentiate? I want another person to answer. Now, differentiate constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, non-statutory bodies with respect to the powers they enjoy. 152. Name and continue with your answer.
Good morning, sir. I am Supriyo speaking, sir.
Yeah. Continue.
For constitutional bodies, they have independent powers.
Very good. Independent and extraordinary powers we can say. Meaning, even beyond the government. Okay. Beyond the executive. I'm just explaining. Okay. Independent means what? Independent. Beyond the executive. Very good. Very good. Next. Statutory.
Statutory body means their power is ensured by the law. Means whatever is written in the law.
Okay. By law.
Power is given by the law.
Yeah. Means, and there will be some control, right?
Yes. Some control will be there. Like government controls the RBI.
Very good. Very good. Then non-statutory bodies. Do they have any powers?
They don't have any kind of means independent powers, but they have advisory.
Okay. Their powers can be defined.
Advisory, but it is not binding on the government.
Very good. It is advisory. Good that Suprito has used a very important word. Okay, which we'll use often in polity. Not binding. Okay. Some of the decisions of statutory body is binding, whereas with respect to non-statutory bodies, it is not binding, it is advisory. Constitutional bodies, always binding. Okay, see the difference? Statutory bodies, sometimes binding in some scenarios. In case of constitutional, always binding to the government. Okay, fine. Now, I want somebody else to answer the next topic, that is how we can differentiate constitutional bodies, statutory bodies and non-statutory bodies based on the control, central government's control over the body. Yes. 406.
Sir, Archana here.
Yeah, Archana, please continue.
So government has no control. They are independent. Autonomy is there.
Oh, very good. Independent and good. Archana, once again I have introduced another word which all of them has to be familiar with. Autonomy. The word autonomy means acting by itself, independent, without the interference of the central government. UPSC in its recruitment, when the IAS, IPS officers write the examination, the marks are given and final candidates list is selected. No interference from the government. Otherwise, government will put its own people inside the bureaucracy. We are having a nearby independent bureaucracy, that is neutral IAS, IPS officers, honest IAS, IPS officers. Okay, that is because autonomy. And some of you may ask, sir, really bureaucrats are corrupt? I have my own friends inside bureaucracy. 80% of the bureaucrats are honest, and that is why India is working. Okay, so in this case, it's possible because of independent body. Okay, very good. Now, yes, can you tell me what is the control of a statutory body? Whether the statutory body is controlled by the central government?
Sorry, sir. Though the power is given by the parliament, they will still come under the overall control of the government.
Very good, very good.
So overall, they are semi-independent.
Okay. So we can say most of the times it is under control of the central government, because there must be a coordination, no? There must be coordination between central government and these. If central government is working in one side, RBI is working in some other side, there won't be no stable fiscal situation in our country, right? The fiscal situation of the country will be bad. So the government and RBI should work in tandem. They should work together. So for that matter, even though some powers are given by the parliamentary law, they will be coming under the central government. Very good. Okay. Then with respect to non-statutory body, what about the control?
Absolute
Control.
control of the government.
Very good. Absolute control. Okay. Absolute control. Okay. Done. Thank you all three of you.
Thank you.
Very good. Now doubts. Yes, actually we started it as a doubt session. Now since one of the student asked regarding constitutional body and statutory body, I wanted to clear the air, then go on with the doubt clearing. Any other doubts for whatever we have discussed till now? Yes. Three 6 9.
Sir, Vimal Adityan, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. You're Vimal Aditya, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Vimal Aditya.
So my doubt is regarding powers. You said that decisions are sometimes binding for statutory, right? Sir? What's that binding and non-binding things? There's a doubt there.
The meaning of binding means government should accept the decision, no other go. For example, Supreme Court orders are binding on the government. When we use the word binding, it means no other go, they have to obey the order. Non-binding means the government may accept or may not. For example, Niti Yog, whenever they are giving an advice, the government may take the advice, may not take the advice. So non-statutory bodies, their advice is non-binding, which means government may take up the recommendation, may not. Example, there's a medical expert committee, during Corona times. It's an example.
Okay, so my second doubt is that whether the parliament can amend the constitution and create any new constitutional bodies or make changes in the present constitutional bodies, sir?
They can. Further explanation when we come to amendments, I will do that.
Yes,
okay.
Sir, thank you,
For example, GST Council has been created. Okay, that is our NJAC was created and it was scrapped. Okay, so new constitutional bodies can be created by amendment. Yes.
Yes, sir. One thing to add upon, sir, on the first day of the class, you asked who are from Loyola, sir.
Okay.
I watched the video only through the recorded video, sir. So I'm not live on that class, so I didn't.
Okay, so you are from Loyola College.
Yes,
Good.
sir. Currently, I'm studying sociology, sir.
Oh, you are a sociology student. Good. When I was in Loyola, sociology was my general elective. Okay, we have to elect some humanities subjects, no? So
yes, sir.
I took history and sociology, and I have submitted a paper on social stratification, for which I was awarded a medal at the annual day celebrations. Okay, the class system, caste system. Okay, those
Yes,
things.
sir.
Good, very good. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
Thank you.
Fine. Okay. So we will meet in person when you come here, no? After class. Okay. Fine. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next doubt. 366. Now this doubt clarification is to ensure that whether you are clear about this basic concept. When you are clear only I can build on. Okay, that is why. Yes.
Sir, I'm Swapriya, sir. My doubt is regarding this tribunal, sir. So tribunals are non-statutory, right now, sir?
No, tribunals, there are constitutionally created tribunals. That is 323AB. Okay, for your question, not 320, under 323AB of Indian Constitution, if tribunals are created, they are constitutional tribunals. The other tribunals which has created fast track courts and other things and all, statutory in nature. Okay. So
they have power to give any decisions, sir. For example, regarding Vaisak case, one tribunal is there.
That tribunal is statutory, so they can give decision. Okay, but its appeal is there in Supreme Court. But you consider the interstate river water dispute. Kaveri River Water Dispute Tribunal. It is orders are final.
So that comes under constitutional tribunal.
Yeah, constitutionally created tribunal. We have to use the word constitutionally created tribunal because the constitution allows for the parliament to create a tribunal.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so in general, no, to put it simply, see, I don't want to be experts and other things. In examination perspective, if they are asking, any tribunal, whether it is 323A, B or any tribunal, you just answer that it is a statutory body. Enough. Okay, so that the differentiation between 323A, B and legal is quite complex. They won't expect that, so you just answer it as a statutory body in examination. Okay. 167. See, doubts related to this, yes. Yes, 167, fast, no?
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Informal institutions, you said, no, sir. Does business centers, black markets come in the informal institutions, sir?
Black markets. You can say that, the criminals, like you can say this criminals, terrorist organizations, okay, and these people, insurgents like Naxals, okay, they can be called as unconstitutional pressure groups. They also come under pressure groups, unconstitutional. So instead of calling them civil society, you can call them uncivil society, okay, or civil society which is not accepted by the constitution. Civil society which does not follow the constitutional methods. Okay, black market completely comes under the economy. Okay, but the mafias, try to influence the government decision through corruption and lobby and other things. They can be called as pressure groups, but black pressure groups, or to use an appropriate word, unconstitutional pressure groups.
Okay, sir. Does religious centers also comes under the informal institution, sir?
Yes, if they are trying to influence the public decision making process. Otherwise, no. Like the NGO and media, no. If they are not influencing, we cannot call. Otherwise, if they are involving protest, we can call them civil society. For example, the Tablighi Jamaats of Muslims, the Deoband school of Muslims. Then we find some of the ashrams, of Hindus. We find sometimes the church fathers, the bishops take part in the protests. In those cases, they become part of the civil society. So religious groups,
thank you,
pressure groups if they are taking part, and that is nothing wrong in that. Nothing wrong in that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Aravind, okay, fine. Nine, yes.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding the constitutional body and statutory body is created by parliament only, no, sir? You mean constitution and you mean by law. So both are that means created by parliament only, no, sir?
See, statutory bodies are created by parliament with the normal amendment process, simple majority, simple process. Constitutional bodies are created in 1950. Plus, any new bodies can be created by parliament as constitutional body now, but the process is difficult one. That I'll explain later. Okay. So, constitutional body is one which is created by constitution, means the provision will be in constitution. The constitution, it will be written that so-and-so institution, UPSC is created, its members are like this, their functions are like this, election commission, their powers are like this, it will be written in constitution. Parliament by law, when it is creating, the points will be created in law. Okay. Now, when I'm going to discuss what is constitution and law, when I do that, you will understand better. As of now, I think you understood, right?
Oh.
Still, I'll be discussing.
So, if a law is created and through that law, if some body is created, means we can take it like a statutory body.
Good.
Like that, I have been understood.
Good, very good. When it is done in 1950s itself by constitution, or when parliament now does it through a constitutional amendment by a difficult process, and add some provisions in the Indian constitution, and then they do it, it is called as constitutional body. Now I'll come to constitutional body and law. When I discuss that, you will be in a better position to understand. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, I have another doubt, sir. For CSR activities, sir, for helping the nature, for CSR corporate social responsibility activities, will come under informal organization or what, sir?
CSR is a initiative that should be undergone by the this one, corporates. It is created. It is not an institution. When we are talking about the institutions, CSR is an initiative. Corporate social responsibility is an initiative. It is not an institution. Institution means you will have officers. Okay, their powers will be there. Functions will be defined. Okay, there will be some specific reason why it has been established, and it works as an organization. But CSR is an initiative by the corporates. Corporate itself is an organization. CSR is an initiative against. It's an initiative under the corporation. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, yes. Okay. 186. I think we have done enough of discussion. This is the last question I'm picking up. Then we are going into the class. 186.
Hello, Ji.
Yes.
Ji, you talked about these fast track courts, right? These fast track courts are set up by Supreme Court or government, like Commander?
It can be done by both. Okay. Sometimes
where do that get the legality?
See, executive is not not starting some of the court. For some purposes, the Supreme Court itself can establish some court. Okay, so it can be established by both executive as well as judiciary. It will be called as a statutory body because it has been created and the powers vested by Tribunals Act.
It will be called statutory body. Okay, then the appointment of judges in these courts will be done by whom? In these fast track courts?
Appointment of
judges.
Yeah, that would be depending upon the situation, what type of fast track court it is. Under which law? For example, National Green Tribunal Act is there, NGT. It creates a certain set of exclusive fast track cats. CAT is there. It establishes a separate tribunals and fast track courts. Okay, so there are certain law related to women empowerment. They set up Mahila courts. Okay, so it will be depending upon the specific. We will learn them when we come to subordinate courts. Okay, I think we are jumping.
Okay.
Appointments to judges we will see when we come to subordinate courts. As of now.
Okay, but these will be statutory in nature.
Yeah, statutory.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, because Tribunals Act is there. Okay, based on that only they'll create. NGT is an act. Based on an act only the court is established. So it is called as a. See, whenever powers is bestowed, they will do it by law. Keep this logic. That is why I went through the logic. Whenever power has to be given, it cannot be given by Prime Minister himself. It could be given only by Parliament, and the particular institution can be only statutory. When an institution is non-statutory, it does not have power. Or when you want an institution for convenience and you no need to give power, you can create by the Prime Minister's order itself. It can be a non-statutory body. So this logic, if you think easily, you will remember what is a statutory, what is non-statutory. When some institution possesses power, makes final decision, then it necessarily should be statutory body. That is what we call it as rule of law. This is the concept we follow. In India, we should follow the rule of law, which means law only should rule. Law only should give powers. Whichever man, whichever official, whichever institution is having power, they do so because of law. You as an IAS officer tomorrow can take critical decision because various law in various aspects would have enabled you to take decision. Okay. Now I will explain what is rule of law later because it is a quite higher complex. Introduction of it now will be difficult for all. So we are as of now just introducing the term and I'm leaving here. We'll do it later. Okay. Fine. Now let us discuss. Okay. So what is constitution? Okay. let us discuss what is constitution. Okay. The word itself, you have the word constitute. Constitute. Okay. How we are establishing our own country, constituting our own country, is spoken in the constitution. Yesterday we said polity, no? In polity we have various groups of people, various caste, various interest groups. Each group has own interest. This interest has to be resolved. Now simple, when we establish a new country, when we want to live together, when we maintain our unity, we will have to assign role. Who has to take decision, who has to implement it, who has to adjudicate, who are all having what powers, how they should be elected, how they should be selected. If IAS, IPS is in charge to manage the country, how they should be selected, what should be the mode of their examination, everything has to be decided. Okay, so when a country is newly constituted, we also discuss how its government is constituted. That is discussed in constitution. So constitution will be the basic book or document, basic agreement type. It is like an agreement which tells what is constituted in the country, how we decide the country. Okay, supposing you imagine that there is a college culturals. Okay, there is no standing cultural committee or some specific people who are responsible for conducting the thing. Okay, so but you have to conduct a culturals. What will you do? First, you will appoint the cultural committee, in which you will appoint the president, secretary, treasurer. You will first tell that what are the roles of each one of them, what are their powers, what are their limitations, how we are going to conduct. First you will set up the organization, then only you will plan for the culturals. Directly you won't come and start make a group and start discussing the culturals. Your planning and your execution will be mishap. Okay, it cannot be in an organized way. So first you have to create an organizational structure. So when a new country is constituted, we are creating an organization structure in constitution. So in 1947, when India got independence, when we established a new country, we have to write down who will make law. Okay, who will make law, who will implement it, and who will oversee it. So executive, legislature, judiciary, okay, their functions and powers as given in the constitution. So now please take down the definition of the constitution. Yes, are you ready to take the definition? Somebody please text yes in the chat box so that I can proceed. Yeah. Constitution, okay. Constitution is the basic framework. Constitution is the basic framework with which a country is established, with which the country is established and governed. Okay, I'll repeat. Constitution is the basic framework with which a country is established and governed. Creating a country, telling who will be ruling the country, who will be the judge, who will be the IAS, who will be the IPS, who is police, what their powers, what is their limitations, etc., etc. Okay, so can anybody raise your hand and just read out the definition? This is just to confirm whether you have got the definition correctly, so that I can move on. Please do it fast now, somebody. 372. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes. Please.
Constitution is the.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, I'm.
Constitution is the. Constitution is the basic framework with which a country is established and governed.
Very good. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, in other words, we can say. Very good. A constitution is a basic framework with which constitutes. You can either use the word constituted or established, both one and the same. Okay. Now let us talk about the functions of the constitution. When we talk about the functions of the constitution, you will be able to more understand. Okay, the functions of the constitution. First, okay, function of the constitution is it resolves the basic conflicts. Or in another word, core demand. As I told you, whatever words I am writing in the board, you have to note it down. That is why I am writing. Otherwise, I will just lecture on. Okay. So it resolves the basic conflicts. Okay. See, we must know the idea of polity. And the first class I told you, we want to stay united. If we want to stay united, we have to resolve all the conflicts or all the core demands of all the groups of people present in the country has to be satisfied. If we do not satisfy the demands of one section of the society, one group in the country, that group will not be ready to be part of the country. I'll repeat, if you are not satisfying the core demand of one group, that group will not be ready to be the part of the country. It will try to go out of the country. Okay, so that is a very important function done by the constitution. The world over, constitutions try to constitute the people, try to hold on all the people with itself, to ensure that all the basic demands of the core demands of each section is satisfied. So they have a reason to stay in the union. They have a reason to stay in the country. Okay, I will give you the example of China. Recently in China, they are talking about two groups in China, right? In newspaper. Let me see. Last week they were talking about two groups in China, which is fighting with the Chinese government. They are not happy with the Chinese government. In fact, I should say four. Okay, four groups. Okay, can you list out anybody? Anybody? No. There are four groups which is challenging the authority of Chinese government within China. Yes. 369.
Yes, sir. I'm Vimal, sir.
Yeah, Vimal.
I know only the two, the people in the Hong Kong and the Uyghur Muslim community.
Very good. So Hong Kong, one thing. Okay. So why Hong Kong people is not okay with China? Because the core interest of Hong Kong, their economic interest, they want to do free trade and other things. They don't want a communist regime. Their political idea is different. Since their basic demand is not accepted, they want a democratic form of government. They are protesting. Then, as you rightly said, Uyghur Muslims. Okay. Uyghur Muslims. They are in Xinjiang province, right? So the province which is contiguous to India, Tibet, Ladakh, Tibet, and then Xinjiang region. Okay. So here it is a Muslim majority state, Xinjiang state, and Uyghur Muslims are majority there. They are fighting. Why are they fighting? Once again, their religious freedom is not accepted by the Chinese. Yes, Vimal, you wanted to say something?
No, sir. I was trying to say the same point what you are saying.
Okay, so the core demand, religious interest of Uyghur Muslims as demand is not accepted. Okay, it's not also recognized in the constitution. So they are saying that we will not be part of you, and many of them are fighting. Tibet, they are also saying, Chinese government, you are not accepting our core demand, so we are not ready to be part of China. Taiwan, Okay, this is a completely different story. They are politically, it is a different unit, but however, still, why can't Taiwan integrate with China? Because Taiwan says that you are not accepting our core demands, you are not accommodative, so we want to be separate. You take the example of Nepal. Nepal, there is a group called as Madeshis. Right? When you don't accept their needs, okay, in the newly written constitution of Nepal, the interest of Madeshis is not addressed. So Madeshis are saying, no, they are against, they are saying we'll protest against the Nepali government, the newly constituted Nepali constitution. So constitution basically has to address all the needs. If it is not addressing, that particular group will try to move away. You take the example of Myanmar. Once again, our neighbor, okay, there Rohingyas. Rohingya community is there. In the constitution of Myanmar, they are not giving citizenship to Rohingyas. So what happens? The Rohingyas has to flee out of the country. They don't feel part of the country. They always are against and involving in violence against the established government. So the basic idea of a constitution is to maintain peace, to maintain unity, to ensure all communities are living peacefully, coexisting. The constitution will address the core demands of all the communities. Okay. So just take the example of India. Okay. In India, before independence, scheduled caste, okay, scheduled caste, the so-called lower caste. I'm using the word so-called. I don't say that they are lower caste. So said in the past history as low caste. They were not okay with Indian freedom. They said that we don't want freedom for India because when India is free, they will be again subjected to caste discrimination. Okay, as long as British is there, they will be benefited by the British through their education and other opportunities. But after independence, after the constitution has been created, the scheduled caste has been as loyal as any other citizens in this country. Okay, they are loyal to the Indian unity. They don't want to go out of the country. They want to remain part of Indian Union. Okay, can anybody tell me why is it so? What made it possible for the scheduled caste people who were against Indian independence? But once India became a free country, they chose to remain with the Indian Union. 186, yes.
Hello, Ji. And that is because the minorities were
Last
protected
question
under
for
the
last
constitution.
Please hold.
Pavitranji. Pavitranji.
Pavitranjan?
Pavitran, that's it. Pavitran.
Oh, Pavitran from?
Palakkad, Kerala.
Okay, Pavitran. Good. So Pavitran, you can give the reason. Yes.
That is because they are protected under the constitution under the section of minorities. There is separate SC/ST protection in constitution. There are separate articles for that.
What exactly? Which article?
I'm not very sure of which article, but there is a ST protection article. People from
Article 17, abolition of untouchability. The constitution assures in free India, untouchability will be abolished. Whether we have truly abolished or not, at least the constitution promises that it will abolish untouchability, and that gives a promise, that gives a reason for scheduled caste to remain with the Indian Union. And Article 346 and many other, Article 46, Article 46 and some other articles, 341. So those articles and all, it gives an assurance that government should make measures for upliftment of the scheduled caste, and that is the reason why they are into. Then they have, in parliament as well as the state legislatures, 15% is allocated for them as a representation. Okay, so seats are reserved for them so that there is a political representation. There is a way for them to express their grievances. Automatically, there is a reason for the scheduled caste people to stay with the Indian Union. Okay, so that's the beauty of constitution. The constitution holds people together. Okay, thanks Pavitran, thank you very much. And I have another question. Indian Muslims, we had partition in 1947, all of you know, but after partition, most of the Muslims, Indian Muslims, they stayed back in India. They did not prefer to go to Pakistan, even though we know the Indian leaders and Pakistani leaders gave a chance that all Muslims can go to Pakistan. Okay, Indian Muslims stayed back in India. Okay, and till now, okay, more loyal and they are more part of this country, and we can find that okay, they feel part and parcel of the mission of this country. There are some exemption in all religions, all groups, leave that. Okay, we are not talking about exemptions, we are talking about the maximum number of people. So the maximum number of Indian Muslims stay back in India and they feel they are part of the Indian Union. Why? Why? Yes, please raise your hand. Double 5 yes, your name and you can give the answer.
Yes, sir. I am Vignesh, sir.
Yeah, Vignesh.
Yeah, actually, in the preamble of our constitution itself, we have declared that we are a sovereign, socialist, and secular country.
Importantly, the
Which means
word
we give
secular. Yeah,
secular.
please.
Yes.
Good. Please continue.
Which means that all religions are equal, and all religions can follow their religions without any objections.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. We are saying that you are free to follow your religion, irrespective of religion. You can be an Indian and practice your religion. Okay, there is no force. That is what we call it as secular. Irrespective of your religion, you can be Indian and you are free to practice your religion. Key word. And that guarantee is given in the Constitution. Article 25 to 29, we will be seeing those articles. Don't worry. The Constitution has given protection for all religions, freedom for all of them to practice their own religion. See, that is the beauty. So when that is happening, people have a reason to stay back in the Indian Union. Okay. So in Pakistan, minorities does not feel the same. Okay, the Hindus in Pakistan, okay, or Christians in Pakistan, Sikhs in Pakistan does not feel the same way as minorities in India. The reason is Pakistan Constitution is not accommodative. Pakistan Constitution and their laws are exclusion to their minorities. That is how that is why minorities, wants to move away from that country or they live in constant fear. They do not identify themselves with the country. But in India's case, okay, despite some problems existing, we find that most of the minorities feel that their part and parcel of this Indian unity is because their core demands has been addressed. Okay, done. Then the third important question. Okay, so Indian Constitution is the most unique and the best constitution. It does its job perfectly, that it keeps hold of all the people united. Okay, so I'll put the third question about the tribes. Okay, the tribes, despite of their poverty, despite of their underdevelopment, they chose to remain with India. Okay, and they identify themselves with Indians. What is the reason?
So can I answer, sir?
Yeah, please, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think under Article 371A, I think so. Like states like Nagaland, so they are given special autonomy because they have a high tribal population.
Yeah, we have many provisions in
population.
Schedule 5, Schedule 6, 371A, and we have a National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. Okay, so we have many provisions in Indian Constitution, which, for example, Article 19 also, which gives some special protection for the tribes. Okay, so we will be learning that in the Indian Constitution. As Vignesh said correctly, we are addressing the core demand of the tribal community, their core problems, their basic conflict with the mainstream society. So that is why they are remaining with us. What is their main problem of the tribal community? Two problems. One is non-tribal community entering into tribal lands, and non-tribal communities taking away the land owned by tribal people. So in Indian Constitution, we have said non-tribals cannot enter into tribal areas. Okay, the details of it we will see later. Okay, tribal areas we cannot enter, they are restricted. Okay, for example, Andaman Nicobar you cannot enter. Some states like Nagaland, if you want to enter, we have to get a permission. It's called as the ILP. We will discuss it later. I don't want to flood you with information, so we'll slowly discuss that later. Now, you need permission to enter into certain tribal, and land ownership from a tribal person cannot be shifted to non-tribal person. We have a constitutional guarantee to that. We have a constitutional guarantee, as Vignesh said, 371 and many other articles are there. So constitution ensures tribals are living with us without any trouble. Now, but here is the point I want to make. I'm saying yes, tribals are happy, but we find the northeastern region, many tribes are in conflict with India. Okay, they want to have a separate country. Nagaland, they want a separate country. Mizos, they want a separate thing. And Assam, okay, so they want greater autonomy. Okay, earlier they were asking for a separate state itself. Okay, so we find that, there are a lot of insurgencies that is going on Northeast India. Once again, why is it so? By the discussion we had so far, I want someone of you to answer. One 152, yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Supriyo here, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I feel, sir, some of their demands means are still not addressed. Means they are they need to be.
Yes, continue.
They need to be included. They need to be included in the mainstream. Means.
Shall we put it this way? Even though the constitution has guaranteed their basic demands, core demands, we have resolved the basic conflict with them. It is not implemented properly. Okay, that is the problem. Yes. Whatever constitutional promises given, we are slow to implement. We cannot say Indian government has not implemented at all. We are doing a lot, but our implementation is slow, which is not matching their expectation. Okay. Yes. So that is why they are asking for a separate country. They don't want to stay with the Indian Union. This is where I am trying to explain that the constitution should resolve all the basic conflicts and it should address the core demands of all the sections of the society. So every section has a reason to stay in the Indian Union. Okay, that's the first function of the constitution. So remember this, that is the essence of the constitution. So constitution is a document that will basically resolve the basic conflicts with the people. Now, I would, very good. I would like to quote another thing, slaughtering of cows. Okay, so Indian society is divided whether there should be prohibition on slaughtering of cows or not. It's a basic conflict, right? So we have a resolution in the constitution. Article 48 says that respective state governments can create law and according to the needs of the state, they can prohibit slaughtering of cows or not. So in Kerala and the northeastern states, we don't have laws for prohibiting cow slaughter. But in other states like Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and all, we have laws for prohibiting the slaughtering of cows. Okay, so now constitution is resolving a basic conflict. So there is some area where you can solve problems and peacefully coexist. This is the idea of constitution, first idea. Okay, fine. Now second one, the constitution allocates power. As I told you, it allocates power, which means who will be the prime minister, who is president, who is legislature, what will be their functions and other things will be told by the constitution. And this is easy that you can understand, allocating the power. So constitution establishes institutions. We were talking about principal organs of the state and constitutional bodies, right? So the constitution creates the principal organs of the state. What are the principal organs of the state? Executive, legislature and judiciary. And also it creates the constitutional bodies. Okay, so we find that allocation of power is done. Third point, okay, the constitution limits the power of the state. Limits the power. Whatever, not only state, whatever allocation of power is done, there must be limitation of power. Okay, there must be limitation of power. See, take the example of the cultural program that you are going to conduct in your college, and in that what happens is you are establishing a committee for that, and you appoint a person as treasurer, and you tell the treasurer that you go and mobilize funds in the name of our college and cultural competition. You can spend any amount of money. We are not going to ask for the accounts, but we want the cultural celebration to be a massive hit in the entire city or the town. So what happens is you give him the ultimate powers without any clipping of powers. there is a chance for corruption. There is maybe looting. The person may do the program well. At the same time, there may be some kind of taking of cash. Okay, so this is called as limiting the power of the state. There is a possibility of limiting the power of the state? Yes, through constitution says this is the limit you can function. Beyond this, you don't have the power. For example, this Rajasthan issue, the anti-defection law clearly states that it is the speaker who decides who will be disqualified. Likewise, constitution also says speaker is the person who decides what is a money bill. Whether a bill is related to expenditure or not, speaker's decision is final. Okay, so like that, there is limitation of power. Okay. Now, remember which part of the constitution talks about the limitation of the powers of the state? Fundamental rights. Now we just note down, when we come to fundamental rights, we will understand this area. Now just limitation of the power. The powers of the government, state organs is limited by fundamental rights. Take the example of police. Police can arrest you, but police cannot touch you or beat you. They cannot involve in violence because fundamental rights says that. Article 21 says that. Okay, there should not be no custodial torture, one of the rights. Article 22 says that after arrest, the police has to submit the person before the magistrate and put them into judicial custody. Police should not keep them in lockup for a longer period of time. So, reason Tuticorin case, they were playing with the rules. Okay, they were not actually following the rules, or I should say allegedly. Until the court is saying we cannot confirm many things, but it is alleged that some foul play has been done. So Article 21 and 22 comes to the rescue of the people. Okay, so that is limitation of the power of the state. Okay, then Indian Constitution talks about what are the welfare measures that should be carried out. To the people of India. Welfare measures. Okay, that is the fourth function of Indian Constitution. See, if you take other constitution, their function will be only three. They will resolve the basic conflict. For example, you take UK. In UK, the basic conflict is between the people of Scotland and England. Okay, so there is a provision in their constitution, even though it's unwritten constitution, there is a law which makes an arrangement between the Scottish people and the England people. So basic conflict is resolved among them. Okay, and if you take Lebanon, there are Muslims, Shia Muslims, Sunni Muslims and Christians. So they are having a conflict. The basic conflict between them is resolved in the Lebanese constitution. Okay, so we have constitutions which resolves basic conflict, allocates power and limits power, that's all. But in Indian constitution, they go for another thing, that is welfare measures. Okay, meaning what should be done to the people to change their socio-economic conditions. Okay, how to change their social economic conditions, we will discuss. Now here, which part of Indian Constitution talks about is directive principles of state policy. Directive principle of state policy. Okay, so right now, this point we will discuss when we come to DPSP, I will explain it, but right now the DPSP gives the welfare measures. So Indian Constitution also talks about the welfare that should be done to the people. Like workers has to be protected, work has to be given, health of the people has to be protected, village industries has to be protected, environment has to be protected, monuments has to be protected, weaker sections has to be protected. Okay, like that, we have many provisions in DPSP. Okay, these provisions we will discuss. Okay, no need to worry about, because I am telling it fast. Some of you may think, sir, I didn't take note of what are the welfare measures. You just take note welfare measures, that is enough. When we come to DPSP, we will see that in detail. At that time, we can take the note. Okay, so welfare measures are done by the Constitution. Then fifthly, what is the function of the Constitution? The fifth provision of the Indian Constitution is, yeah, I am coming. Sorry. I'll complete this discussion. Just imagine when you write mains examination and all, 3 hours you have to sit continuously. It is not your college. It's very serious business now. You have to practice yourself sitting. For some people, I understand there may be some important thing. So I agree for the break. But try to sit for 3 hours. Okay, only when extraordinary thing you take a break. Okay. So now now it's 12:30, is it? Okay. So you can take a break 5 minutes. Okay, then we will discuss. Yes. Are you all back from the break? The tea konjam secret. Are you all back from the break? If yes, please text yes in the chat box. Okay. Fine. Now, when I was discussing this, I received a doubt telling that, sir, in India, Jammu and Kashmir problem is there, Muslims, there is a problem, minorities fear is there, Northeast also. Then you are talking about, inclusion of scheduled tribe, Indian Muslims staying back in India. See, as a bureaucrat, when you give answers, write the positive aspects, predominantly India is good, okay, because of certain events and other things. No, you should not be putting the entire country into a bad picture. One more thing we must remember is media is all about negativity. Okay, of course, media has to report both positive as well as negative things. But unfortunately, we find that negative because TRP ratings. No, only when you talk negative things, people are happy. Okay, so the newspapers, which is regional and regional media, which mostly reports on murder, reports on extramarital affairs, reports on small clashes, okay, and some highly negative actions and those things. No, so they only get lot of readership. Okay, so automatically they give such news. So in polity, if there is 100 good officers, good IAS officers, and one person is doing corruption, news will come about that one corrupt person only. Remaining 99 officers, the constructive work they are doing, it will not come out in the picture. Likewise, when we see the country, every day there will be news, there will be some negative. Should agree that some negative things are happening in the country. We have to give solutions for that. But at the same time, we should not create a panic atmosphere or a negative atmosphere. We should be able to understand that some good work is going on, which is actually good for the polity. Okay, so that should be reflected in your paper. When you reflect that in the paper, I'm not asking you to say a lie. I'm telling you to identify and clearly see the picture and see that there are many people who are doing good, and you also agree that there are certain wrongs is being done and how to correct that wrongs. That would be better. See, I would give an analogy. There is a saying, where people will say, whenever there is a glass of water which is half filled, and positives will see that the glass is filled half, and pessimists will see that the glass is half empty, and most of the people, they ask you to see the glass half filled, right? Okay, now I want any one of you, as a bureaucrat, how should we see when there is a glass of water or a half filled glass of water on the table, whether you will say it is half filled or whether you will say that it is half empty? Thank you. It is half filled or half empty, or what you will say? Anybody? Thanks. Yeah, 7378.
Hello, sir.
Yes, your name and then
Sir,
you can.
I am Shruti.
Okay.
Sir, I am Shruti from Kerala.
Please proceed.
I would like to view it, even my personal opinion. Also, I would like to view it as, even in the situation, I have got at least half a glass of water. At least it is filled half, and what I can do for filling the rest of the half. That is what I have to try.
Very good, very good. As a bureaucrat, okay, you should not stop saying that the glass is half filled. Yes, you should be happy that the glass is half filled. Okay, that is the first point of view. But you should not stop there. You must know why the rest of the glass is not filled, and you should also take measures to fill the rest of the glass. Okay, so that is the attitude that should be there for the bureaucrat. A positive person will say half filled, a negative person will say it is half empty. A bureaucrat will say it is half filled, but the remaining half also should be filled, and I will take measure for filling that remaining half. Good, Shruti. That is very good take on your side. Very good, very good. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, there's another person. Yes. 190 1960 மூணு நம்பர் மட்டும் சொல்லுங்க. 1960.
Sir, I'm audible, sir.
Yes, yes.
From Kerala.
Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir, that when you mention about the constitution allocates power and limitation of power, my connection actually gets down, sir, that so that I couldn't understand the difference between the constitution allocates power and there is a limitation of power. Please mention, sir, once more, please.
Okay, you are asking to repeat. I will definitely repeat, but after 1 o'clock, okay? After 1 o'clock, once again.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'll stay back and.
Okay, sir. Sure.
Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Four 406. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, you said limitation of power is on the state actually. So,
yes.
Does it confer only to the state or to the citizens as well? Because through untouchability, Article 17, the Constitution restricts the citizens as well, right?
That is expects a duty, not a limitation of power. Power is when something is exercised. No. When we come to Article 13, so it will be a very long time. There is the meaning of power. Power is exercised only for state. For people, it is duty and rights. For state, it is authority and power. So we can say this fundamental rights is limitation on the state power and expectation of some duties from part of citizens. Like that we can say.
So strictly limitation only on the state.
Yeah, power of the state. Limitation on the power of the state.
Power
and,
of the state. Yeah.
When it comes to citizens, we can say limitation on the actions of the citizens, not power.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
And I'll discuss power and authority. When Article 13 comes, I'll be talking about what is power and what is authority.
Okay.
Okay. Now, sir, in preamble itself, now we need not wait till Article 13. When preamble comes itself, I'll explain. Okay. So wait until that. Now, fifth power, or fifth functions of the Constitution is that it gives political identity to Indian citizens. Okay. It gives political identity. Once again, the fourth point and fifth point is more peculiar or more specific to post-colonial constitutions. What do you mean by post-colonial? A country which has been under the rule of some other country and now it is free, it is called as post-colonial. Earlier it was colonial, now it is free, post-colonial, after being a colonial country. So post-colonial countries, the fourth function, welfare measures will be mentioned. Why? The previous government, the British government or colonizers, they might had exploited the people. So there is a need for talking about welfare measures in the Constitution. Political identity also, we have to tell exactly the political identity of the people, that is which group they belong to. Because before 1947, the political identity of our forefathers, those who were living in India, were they were subjects of the British Empire. Okay, they were subjects of the British Empire. Okay, but now we are Indian citizens. So the Constitution defines who are all Indian citizens. It gives certain criteria. When we come to citizenship chapter, we'll be seeing that. Right now, understand that who are all Indian citizens is mentioned in the Indian Constitution. Okay, so we have five functions of the constitution. The first is the constitution gives you a identity. It resolves the basic conflict. Second is it allocates power. Third, it limits power. Fourth, it provides welfare measure. Finally, it gives a political identity. So these are the five functions of the Indian constitution. Specifically, other constitution, only first three will come: resolution of conflict, allocation of power, limitation of power. Okay, for Indian constitution, being a post-colonial country, welfare measures and political identity will be additional points. Okay, can anyone raise your hand and fastly list out what are the functions of constitution? Okay. (714) yes, fast your name and then list out the functions of the Indian constitution. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible. Ragapriya.
Swati, sir. Yes, sir. Resolves basic conflicts, allocates power, limits the power of state, welfare measures, and gives political identity to Indian citizens.
Yeah, the political identity is which country they belong to. The Indian citizenship is the political identity. If there is a person who is a Hindu, Hinduism is a religious identity. If a person is belonging to some caste, and that is his caste identity. Political identity means which country you belong to. So constitution says that you belong to India, that you are an Indian citizen. Fine. Now the first point, no, can you elaborate on the first point? Resolving basic conflicts, no? Why should basic conflicts resolved by constitution? Try, Ragapriya, Swati, is it? First thing, no, resolving conflicts. Why conflict has to be resolved? Any other student also can take the chance and answer. So the constitution resolves the conflict to ensure all the sections are remaining inside the unified country. Every section has a reason to stay in the union. Yes, 3 to 1.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm Sibia here. Sibia.
Can you spell your name for me? Sorry.
Cibia, sir.
Sibia. Okay. What is the meaning?
Sibia.
What's the meaning?
Sir, it's a biblical name. It's a queen's name in Bible.
Okay, I've never come across such name anyway. I'll try to find out from my mother. Okay.
Yes, sir. So,
yes,
do you want me to explain about the functions of the Constitution, which is the first point, or
the first point alone?
Sir, as it says, it resolves the basic conflicts, which is a core demand, which unifies the citizens of India, whether it may be religions or whether it may be minorities or tribes. It brings people together, where it addresses all sections' demands, and the Constitution gives them the guarantee and ensures them freedom for all their beings also as well.
Okay, thank you. That's a very elaborative explanation. Thank you. You have understood well. Thanks.
Sir,
yes, you have.
No, sir. Even if as we have to describe it in example wise, we can take the, as you've told, the eastern section, the eastern part, and the Muslims and everybody as well.
Yeah, you can. We can mention the minorities. You can mention the central tribes more than the northeastern tribes. No, the tribes who are living in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, no, they are well integrated. They are happy being part of Indian Union. That is because of the constitutional protections given to them. So you can give the example of Gonds, Bills. Now you learn all these things in geography and all. You know, the central tribe.
Yes, sir.
Santals, Gonds, Bills. Their examples you can give. Then the northeast, because northeast is in conflict. Okay, then a larger number of Muslims, Sufi Muslims you can mention. Okay, so those things you can mention.
Sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good. Very good. Now we have to move into the difference between constitution and law. Okay. But before that, since it's already Thursday, next week only we'll have class. So first I'll talk about the books so that you can straight away start reading. Okay. Because parallelly you have to start reading also. Okay. So before going to the next topic, the difference between constitution and law. Now we will see what are the books that should be read. Books to be read. Okay. Okay. So before going in this, one disclaimer. I will tell you guys what books to be written with explanation now. Hereafter, once again, if you come and ask me or mail me asking me, sir, what are the books to be read? Any extra books that I should read? Okay, I will not answer you. Okay. So this is the only thing and non-changing thing. Very clearly, I'll tell you. Stick with that. And in UPSC, once you follow a type of book or one book, stick with that. Don't keep on changing the material. It will not help at all. So first, okay, for you, NCRT is must. And in NCRT, which NCRT you have to read? Okay. Indian Constitution at Work. Okay, this is 11th standard NCRT. Okay, 11th standard NCRT. So I give you a technique. Leave your college. Now when you study for UPSC, whatever subject you read, whether you are understanding or not, don't bother about it. Keep reading. As days go, when you are familiarizing yourself with the subject, automatically, things would be understood. So don't burden yourself or don't too much be worried that you are not understanding certain terms. Okay. So Indian Constitution, just like that, casually read. And there is this book, Political Theory. Once again, 11th standard NCRT. No need to read this book. Political Theory, 11th standard NCRT. No need to read this book. If you are optional students, right, you are taking political science option, or you are just want to choose between options, you are oscillating between political science, sociology, public administration, anthropology, like that, various humanities subject, and you want to choose between them to get a clarity how the subject will appear, then you can read this Political Theory. And for those people also, chapters such as justice, equality, liberty, that alone you read. Okay, entire book no need to read, and especially the first unit of Political Theory, it will be confusing. Okay, first time you read it, you will think that the subject is complex. Leave that, directly go and read these chapters. For whom? Those who are choosing political science as an option, or you are in a dilemma. Okay, that you may choose one of the options as political science. You need some idea about what is the subject. Then you can read this book. Otherwise, no need. And some of you may ask, sir, past 2 years, 1 or 2 questions are coming from this book. That is how our seniors have told. Yes, it is true. If you attend my class, you can answer that from my class. Even my class will be more elaborate than this book. Especially in the philosophical part, my class will be more elaborate, give you a full understanding. If you read my class notes until fundamental duties, this book will not be required. Okay. I have incorporated the important points from this book in the class itself. So repetitive work is not required for you. Okay. So even in this, Indian Constitution work, I just ask you to read to get a language, okay, to get familiarity. Okay. So even if you skip this and directly read the main book, that also is fine only. But beginners, since you have time, you have started the preparation early, now you can go by this. Then third, there is a book, okay, Politics in India since Independence. Politics in India since Independence. Okay. This book also no need to read, because in main syllabus you have a syllabus called as post-independence consolidation. Okay. which is taught in our institute separately. In institute, there is a separate set of classes, post-independence consultation. Once again, Sarnamurthy sir will be teaching you that. And in institute material is there, which covers more than what this NCERT is covering. Remember, our institute material covers what the NCERT does, plus what is required for the examination. And very specific. It is not too story-like or lengthy. It is too specific for the examination. So instead of this book, if you read that material, that would be suffice and will be preparing you more efficiently for the examination. Okay. Okay. Then you have this book, Contemporary World Politics. That is also 12th standard NCERT Political Science. Okay. So whether this should be read. Okay. Contemporary World Politics. No. If international organization class is completed and you read that material, plus world history, okay, world history, whatever content here you are reading, that is part of this book. Okay, for political science students, you can read this because some theory names are given, which is useful for your optional paper. But for general studies, these classes is enough. So if you have completed, okay, IO class and world history class, this book is also not required. Okay, fine. So what I am insisting now, be clear, Indian Constitution NCERT is what you have to take now and start reading. So other books, no need to read. 11th standard, 12th standard. Okay, fine. Now some of you may have this doubt. Sir, there is this political science NCERTs, 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th, and then 9th, 10th standard. Okay. So these books should be read. Okay. If you read Indian polity, if you read all other subjects, these books won't be required. Okay. Keep it as a second priority. When I use the word second priority, what does it mean? You have to complete what the main book I said, Indian Constitution at Work, and other book which I am going to say. After that, complete all other subjects. Till you have time, come and read this. Likewise, the other books I said no earlier. These books, okay, this political theory, leave political theory, politics in India since independence and contemporary world politics. This can be read as the second priority, which means after reading Indian polity, geography, history, science and technology, current affairs, CSAT, complete everything, and still you have more time for prelims, then read this. Okay, what is the benefit of reading it in the second priority? One is the use of NCERT language. Okay, to increase your writing skill, to write answers simply, NCERT books, these books will be helping you. So you will develop the same language, so you can do value additions. Some of the charts, diagrams and points that is mentioned can be used as value additions to highlight your points. Okay, so you can do it. That can come naturally when you have a holistic reading, that will come naturally. Okay, so this is for second priority. So when I say second priority, even if you miss, that will not hurt you a lot. And if you do, it is well and good. Okay, see, because this is competitive examination, when you learn an extra point other than other person, when you add an additional dimension to your thinking other than other person, definitely you are going to have an advantage. Okay, there is no opposite question in that. But when you prepare with priority, you could still be inside service, you still get IAS by reading first priority books alone in all the subjects. Okay, that is what I am trying to emphasize. Okay, so there are some calculations. Supposing you are mastering polity and you go and take prelims examination, only 15 questions from polity. So in GS you will get only out of 15, 12 to 13 questions you will answer. That's all. Remaining all other subjects you have not read strongly, gone. Okay, you will be not able to clear the examination. Okay, so that is why keep your books minimal, and second priority books is second priority. Learn it after completion of the entire syllabus. Okay, then what else? Okay, after reading the NCERT, our material, our institute polity material. Okay, or Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant is so bulkier. So even if you read Lakshmikant, you can just refer our institute book and what are the topics there in the book. The same topics you can read it in Lakshmikant. Okay, so no need to read the entire book. Okay, that will be very exhaustive, time consuming. And once again in Lakshmikant there are first priority chapters, second priority chapters, which I will tell you in the class. Accordingly, you read that alone so that you are able to prepare in a shorter time and score maximum. Okay, so many of you will first have this myth. For IAS examination, I have to read lot of books. Okay, when the books are stacked, the height of the book should be more than your height. Like that you will think. You will never clear the examination. Okay, you have to keep your material short for each of the subjects, and you must know something in everything. I repeat, you must know something in everything. It's not the reverse. Okay, generally people think that you must know everything in everything. For IAS, no, most of you will have the myth that you must know everything in everything. That is not possible. You must know something, the basic things in everything. Okay, so prioritize and read. Okay, so I would suggest institute polity material. That itself is suffice. Human psychology, when the entire India is reading Lakshmikant book, okay, you will be saying, sir, how come I read this? Okay, if you think like that, yes, you can buy Lakshmikant book, but just follow the order in which I am telling, and just leave out the less priority chapters and give priority to the important chapters. Okay, and the less priority chapters also, how to cover it also we will tell you in class. Okay, so it will be ensured that you are not missing any questions. Okay, so more than hard work or addition to hard work, smart work is required in UPSC. So please, okay, this one. Now some of you will ask, sir, there is D.D. Basu, Bakshi, Subhash Kashyap, Granville Austin, Ivor Jennings, K.C. Weir, A.P. Jain, okay, name it. Okay, then now recently many local authors have also come. Okay, and you will be asking, sir, which book to read? There are multiple books. That is why once again I am saying, select one book and stick to one book. You cannot read all the books. You are not going to master the subject. You want to clear this examination. So stick with one book. That would be either your institute polity material, okay, or the Lakshmikant book. Any one. You choose one and you stick with that. Okay, I can give assurance. Last year, those students who have studied institute polity material have cleared. Only institute polity material. Plus, as I told, they have covered all the subjects. They have cleared the prelims examination. Okay, so either this or Lakshmikant book. Okay, not other books. If you are a PubAd student, then political science optional student, then or law student, D.D. Basu, fine. Or Fadia and Fadia, those books are all fine. Okay, I'm not going to say no for it. But for general studies, no need for D.D. Basu. I'll give you the reason. D.D. Basu is written for all stakeholders, lawyers, judges, okay, journalists, bureaucrats. But Lakshmikant, our institute material, is written exclusively for UPSC examination. What will be asked in the examination, we have analyzed that. Based on that, we have culled out all the unnecessary information. In the recent editions, even Lakshmikant has added many unwanted things. Our institute material is very specific, dealing with what is required for the examination. Okay, very specific. It is written only for the UPSC aspirants in the thinking that you have to clear the examination. Okay, so here you will be having a lot of high level English which is not required in the examination. Okay, and the important point is, when you read books like Granville Austin, D.D. Basu and other things, your language will be very high. You will find that those who are writing in high language will get a low score, but who are writing in simple language will get a high score in UPSC examination. Okay, you may win a essay competition, you may win some other written competitions, but in UPSC you will find that you are losing out because you are not writing in a understanding language. Okay, so just remember, what is the technique or what is the skill that is tested? It is only written language. UPSC examination, written language. Because in future you are going to be a IAS officer. Just imagine when suppose corona epidemic is taking place. Now the central government has to frame guidelines. What is the real ground situation? What is the issue that is taking place? You have to write a report. Your report should be understood by the cabinet secretary or the health secretary in the center. For that, your language should be in a normal English or even high level English. But in return, when the cabinet secretary writes an order, the order will be even read by a group 2 official. The group 2 official should be able to understand it. So the language should be very simple, very elaborative, understandable. The words should be able to be converted into actions. So if that is the requirement, you have to write it as simple as possible. Now that is why I told you that second priority, take and read the NCERT language. Try to write the answers in NCERT language, because NCERT has been written to ensure that children are understanding polity, which is a difficult subject. Comparatively, okay, it's not a difficult, actually polity is a very easiest subject, because we live in polity, we are part of polity. But there is a wrong assumption that it is difficult. That wrong assumption is because, the words. Now they have put these words in very simple manner in the NCERT. NCERT have a very simple, easy words and politically acceptable words. Without offending the political parties, without affecting people's sensitivities, religious sensitivities, the NCERT would have handled all the matters in a neutral way, in an acceptable way. At the same time, they will not miss out the issues. So if you read that NCERT, you will be able to give. Likewise, in polity, if you read Lakshmikant, you will be able to give simple answers in ordinary words. But D.D. Basu makes things complex. Okay, your answers will be making complex. Then, chances of making the answer understandable to the examiner will be difficult. And that is why I am asking you to choose Lakshmikant or institute material. Okay. Then some of you may come and say, sir, D.D. Basu is very small, Lakshmikant is bigger. We will choose D.D. Basu. If size is your problem, take the institute book. Institute book is much smaller. But remember, D.D. Basu, the font size is smaller. Lakshmikant, no, the font size is bigger. That is why it is bigger. Font size is bigger. Then Lakshmikant is 1/3 of its size, or the content in Lakshmikant is 1/3 of its size. If you take the Lakshmikant book, no, every chapter, all the points related to the particular chapter will be there. For example, if you take president, all the points in the constitution related to president will be there. Prime minister, it will be there. So there will be lot of repetitions. Supposing in the president chapter, they are talking about the relationship between president and prime minister, president and tribes, president and scheduled caste. In the chapter of president, there will be president and prime minister point repeated. In the tribals chapter, once again, the relationship between president and tribals will be repeated. So Lakshmikant, lot of things gets repeated. So reading once Lakshmikant, it's like revising the polity for 3 times, I would say. Okay, so don't worry about the bulkiness of the book. You read the entire book once, okay, you get overall picture and it's very easy. Okay, understood this? So with regarding to the books, what are you going to do? You are going to stay with Indian Constitution at work, and then either institute book or Lakshmikant. If you institute book, leave Lakshmikant. If Lakshmikant book you read, leave the institute book. Okay, so this is how you have to start your preparation. Parallel preparation. See, the NCERT will be very engaging. Lakshmikant quite dry. Okay, so keep both the books. Keep reading one. When you are bored with one, switch over to the other. Like that you do. Okay. Then we have to talk about the approach. Okay. Yes. I know we are extending more than one. I need just 2 more minutes because it's very crucial. Okay. So the approach, with your consent, I would like to extend and complete this part. Okay. Approach to study Indian polity. So that you can straight away start the preparation. Okay. You need not wait for the next class. Can I extend the class for another 5 minutes? I need yes. Yes, yes. Very good. I got yes from you. Fine. Now, when you start with Lakshmikant, start from 4th chapter. preamble. Then go for the third one, salient features. In our institute book also same order. Okay, fourth unit, third unit. First unit, historical background. Okay, historical background, leave it as of now. And examination also no. So far they have not asked any question till now from this area, from this chapter. Okay, historical background. Okay, direct question is not there. Okay, maybe since historical history based questions was there, direct questions was not there. Second, we have making of Indian Constitution, second chapter. That chapter also you can leave it as of now. Okay, you can start from 4, preamble. If you read these two, no, they are more, first at the first instance it will look like facts. You will just see it as facts only. So some of you have already opened the Lakshmikant book or institute book. You would have find Indian polity boring. Okay, and you would have closed the book telling that let the class start, after that we will study. That is because it may appear as facts. I will tell you how to study this later. As of now, skip it. You start from preamble. Even our class approach, no, I will start with preamble and then go on, not teach the class. Then next is you have to go for the fifth. Okay, next union and its territory. I'm sorry, citizenship, union territory till president. Okay, remember P to P. Okay, is the idea you should remember. Preamble to president. Preamble to president. First time when you are reading polity, NCERT just like that you read, but Lakshmikant or institute book start with preamble, then salient features, then go in order till the president chapter. P to P, preamble to president. Okay, learn it casually, like a novel. Underline, like a novel. Okay, like a novel. Okay. Now, why to read like a novel? See, I told I am a graduate in physics and most of you are engineers. Our methodology of study is completely different. Okay, we study discrete things, small part. Suppose, okay, to study the rigidity of this object, okay, Young's modulus and other things, we'll take a small wooden piece from this object, study the Young's modulus, then we'll say it is applicable for the entire thing. Okay, elasticity, whatever property, we take we study small object and we integrate it to a larger. Okay, so this is our way of studying. Okay, so by knowing a small part, we can understand how things will be in the bigger part. Okay, leave quantum mechanics. I'm talking about ordinary mechanics, classical mechanics. When we come to polity, it is directly opposite. We must know what is the entire subject. Just by reading citizenship, just by reading only prime minister, only president, you cannot understand polity. We should know a mix of things, overall idea about all the institutions, then only we will be able to understand. Whenever I discuss many things, you are having lot of doubts. Yesterday, not yesterday, the first class, we were having 40 minutes of discussion after 1 o'clock. We were having very good questions. The reason is, okay, because we have learned things discretionarily, we will not be able to comprehend. So if you want to have a bird's eye view, overall view about a particular subject, that is polity, okay, we have to read from preamble to president without stop, point to point bus. P to P also mean point to point, not only preamble to president, point to point. Like point to point buses, okay, that is applied. There is no stop in between. Except in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu buses, they will say point to point, but they will stop at every stop in between. Okay, but here in polity, you are not going to stop in between. You are going to read it continuously, starting from preamble to president, without any stopping, like a novel. Okay, now fine. Now I want somebody to raise your hand. I am going to ask you a small thing. Okay, not related to polity, just a small interaction. So what is the difference between reading a novel and reading a academic textbook? That is the question. Anybody who's willing to answer, please raise. 873, yes. 873. How will you, or what is the difference between reading a novel and studying an academic textbook?
Hello, sir. It's Haripriya here.
Sorry?
Hello. It's Haripriya here, sir. Yes. So
Haripriya.
novel is basically I just read. Yeah. So novel I just enjoy and read. Actually, both novel as well as academic will enjoy. The
Maybe
thing is, novel is more leisure in sense.
Okay. Okay. I think
So
others will not agree
academic
with
is
you.
like somewhat. I know. It's like very, very minuscule view. I know that. But to say specifically, I think novel is something I read in my leisure time only. But academic, I'm constrained to do it on time. That is a major difference with me when it comes to me actually.
Okay, can we say like this, when you read a novel, you find a difficult word or a word you don't understand, will you going for a dictionary, Google, or what
Yeah,
will
I
you
do, sir. I do it. I do it. I strictly do it. Honestly,
must be a very studious
speaking, I do
person.
it.
Very studious
But I do
person.
it, yeah.
Good. That is actually good practice, but I honestly, when I read, recently I read this fiction, Volga to Ganga, Victor Kierman. I think you know that book. Okay, it talks about the Indian civilization in a fictional manner. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Now there was a lot of words, I didn't understand, some Sanskrit words, some
Have
anglicized
you read
words.
Shashi Tharoor's book? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Have you read Shashi Tharoor's book?
Which one?
I mean,
I've read
all of his book are like William Shakespeare only.
Okay, I've read Pax Indica related to foreign policy. Same with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So in all these books, what happens is whenever you find a difficult word, I will not go and search the dictionary. I just keep on reading the okay, because waiting for understanding the exact meaning of the word in the context. But textbook, each and every word I will try to find a meaning. Okay, so in case of novel, you don't try to remember the character, don't try to remember the place and other things, but what happens, supposing your friend is contesting some character or some plot in the novel, you will be able to tell the exact page number. You will turn the page number and show your friend, see that this is the exact character and plot. But in case of textbook, you forget everything the very next day that you have read. Okay, that is the reason is, okay, in textbook we try to learn discreetly each and every word, so we don't get the larger connect or the process is delayed. But in case of novel, we try to understand the larger story, the underlying storyline or the current behind the entire thing, so it is easy to understand a single word. Since you brought Shashi Tharoor into the discussion, I would also like to mention, once some journalist asked him, Shashi Tharoor, sir, your English is very high level. Even if you speak one or two sentences, we have to go for dictionary to understand the meaning. And how could
dictionary?
how could you remember so much of words and use so much of words? Are you memorizing the words, like 5 words each day from dictionary? Such was a question. He answered no. He said that I read lot of books, and when I read books, when I find some difficult words, I don't try to understand the meaning through dictionary. Rather, I flip through the pages. When I finish the book, I'm already I'm knowing the meaning. He says then we may refer to the dictionary to find whether his understanding is correct or not. Secondary process. This is how one should read. Okay, he has actually told the technique of reading. Okay, read like a novel, even serious books. Read like a novel. Continuously read it without being bothered to understand. I'm saying being bothered. Try to understand. Bother yourself, or don't feel problematic, or don't feel discomfort of not understanding any concept or word in the book. Just read it very casually with a free flow from preamble to president. Okay, like novel. Now, if there is a word, supposing there is a word like status quo is coming, you don't understand the word. Okay, just put a mark like this, doubt, or put a mark like this, and just go on reading. First preamble to president you are reading. When you come for the second reading, you will be astonished that already you have got the meaning for many of the words that you have marked doubt. This is the way I do. Initially, when I started UPSC preparation, in fact, when I joined Loyola College. They will grade students into category A, category B, C, depending upon their English fluency. Category A is the best. Category B is average. Okay, their grammar is not good. They have to be improved. Category C is those who are from regional Hindi medium, Tamil medium, Telugu medium. So they need some like that. And I was put into category B. You may not believe I was put into category B. But remember, this is the way I started learning the books or studying the books. Later on, my way of speaking in English and my writing, developed a lot. In fact, before the final year, I was able to write 2 journals in the college magazines. Okay. So the point I'm trying to say is read things like a novel. When some words are problematic, put doubt, go ahead, complete it, come back. Even then, if you don't understand that word, then you can go for the dictionary. Okay, that is the best way. And moreover, parallelly classes will go on. I know what are the words that has to be given meaning and elaborated. So in class, I will be discussing those words in elaborate. So along with the class, when you go for a casual reading of Indian polity, it is going to be a cakewalk. It's like eating a cake. Reading polity will be a pleasurable experience. But if you are worried at every page, you don't understand the concept, you sit and worry, I don't understand what is this they're talking, definitely be difficult. If you don't understand, try to read it again. So still you have a problem, leave it, just go ahead, read till president, come back. The second reading, you will get a good understanding. Because in the second reading, you are more familiarized with the subject, you have got the overall view, a bird's eye view about the subject. Because polity is not science, to read it from small to large. First, you have to read the overall, get an idea of overall subject, then individual chapters can be best understood. Citizenship chapter, Prime Minister chapter, President chapter, Fundamental Rights chapter is best understood when you have a bird's eye view. Okay. So this, keep it in your mind. So your approach should be reading it through a novel. First and second chapters, okay, you can skip it for now. Wait for Modern India class to be over. Then read it. Then no more these will be facts. It will be some interrelated concepts. Okay, this is last point I want to discuss since the time is getting. How I read first unit, historical background. 1861 Act. What are the important aspects of 1861 Act? I have to remember this. I did not memorize. 2 things is very important. One is Indians were started to give representation in governance process. Until that, Indians did not have, only British people. First time in 1861 Act, Indians are giving representation. So representation of Indians in government, first point. Second point, decentralization. That is, state level governments were started to give more freedom. Okay, instead of central, the one people sitting in Calcutta deciding everything. Earlier, Calcutta was the capital, not Delhi, during the British regime. The Governor General of Bengal was deciding everything, and the state, were subordinate. Now, from 1861, they started to decentralize. Okay, so what is representation, and second one is decentralization. Okay, so these are the 2 things which is important in 1861. How do I remember? I remember like this. Historically, what happened before 1861, 1858, Sepoy Mutiny happened. In Sepoy Mutiny, what are the 2 things? Why the soldiers revolted? One, the Britishers were not sensitive of Indians. Okay, and all rulers were British. If Indians were part of the British, okay, the Indians would have told that you should not be doing these things, or at least Indians will be satisfied that we are represented in the government, so we can tell the government not to do this, not to involve in such acts. In modern history, you would have learnt all the problems. Why 1857 revolt? The major reason is Indians were not part of the administration. Second is over centralization. Everything was decided in Calcutta. Everything is decided by the board of directors and the board of control and court of directors. Okay, the company rule. Okay, the East India Company, the 2 boards, they were deciding everything. Over centralization. Even a smallest problem in a smallest place like Punjab, Oudh, or in Chennai, okay, everything was decided in Calcutta. So these are the 2 reasons. So after 1858 revolt, immediately what they did in 1858, they abolished company rule. They brought the crown rule. That is, Queen has to rule India. That is immediate reaction. After that, getting reports from the experts, they are understanding the problem. After 3 years, they are realizing that not giving representation to Indians, and over centralization is reason for revolt. So in 1861 they are starting decentralization process. Then in 1861 they are also talking about giving representation for Indians in law making process, like present parliament. No, earlier they called legislative council. Okay, legislative council. So in that they are giving representation for Indians in 1861. In 1892 they will increase. 1909 they will further increase. In 1909 executive council also will come. Okay, so this modern India will be taken. Now the point is, after reading modern India, then you come and read this first unit. You can relate what happened historically, why the British government reacted with this provision. 1909 Minto Morley, why? It was because Swadeshi movement, partition of Bengal. Then 1909, it is because 1919 Montague Chelmsford report, that is because of non-cooperation movement. Then because of unification between the moderates and extremists, arrival of Gandhi, and various other things, which happened. It resulted in 1919 report. Now I'll be discussing that later once again. But right now you start with preamble. Later on, modern India class is over. We can relate it with modern history and learn the first unit. Then you will see the historical link. You won't be worried about the facts. No more this will look as a fact. It will be a interconnected one. Making of Indian Constitution also. After reading modern history and the Indian Constitution, role of Jawaharlal Nehru, Patel and all, you can easily remember. Okay, Union Powers Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, unification related. Okay, Patel will come. Okay, likewise, based on their major role, major contribution, you can say which committee they have headed. So only after reading modern India, after completing modern India class, okay, I would ask you to study historical background and making of Indian Constitution. I repeat, not only modern India, you should have completed preamble to president. So polity knowledge, modern India knowledge will help you to understand these two better. And another warning is that when you read salient features of Indian Constitution without undergoing the class, it will be very vague initially. But parallelly, if you learn along with the class, the points which you are discussing in salient features, it will be easier. So for easiness, after preamble, you can even shift like this. Then parallelly, you can read the salient features of Indian Constitution. That one point also I want to tell you. Okay. So if this is the approach that you are starting with, or even if you started earlier, once again start in this approach, reading of polity will be very easy. Okay. So today we have discussed about the books and the approach to study the Indian polity. Okay. So the next class will be talking about difference between constitution and law. Once that is done, we will enter into the preamble. Okay. The each and every concepts in the preamble, and then as I told, the techniques, we have talked about the three techniques: diet, exercise and sleep. Related to happiness and self-motivation, we have to talk about it. We will do that in the next class. Okay. So until that, we'll wind up now. Any doubts? Okay. General doubts, I'll wait here. Those who are willing to continue can continue. Others can leave. Okay. So those extraordinary doubts and other things and all you can ask. Okay. And specific doubts also you can ask. You can, those who are willing, you can remain. Others are free to leave. Yes. 869. 369. Yes. Is it hot? Yes. 369.
Yes, sir. Yes, I need something like different chapters in polity and what are the chapters that we are going to cover. If the chapters are given, it's good, no, sir. We can go.
I told you preamble. I told you next preamble. The next class preamble. Every class, at the end of every class, I will tell you what will be dealt in the next class. Previous classes also I told you. Now also I have told that the next class preamble will be taught. First part will be difference between constitution and the law. After finishing that topic, we will enter into preamble.
Okay, sir. If possible, if you give the outline of the chapters, it will be good that we know that what we are going to learn, and it's so simple.
Yeah.
So that it's like water and we are going to enter the ocean.
Yeah. First, it's just like that. you're supposing you're in the harbor now, you know, the anchors has to be released first, okay, and the ropes that is holding on the ship has to be released first, then only the specific path has to be charted for the ship, right? So now I'm doing that work of unleashing you, releasing all the anchors and the ropes, okay. I'm trying to clear the basic concepts. So in the first class, as I told you, first I explained what is polity. I told you and I explained it. Then what is law, components of polity, and I told you which components of polity will be asked in prelims examination and the mains. Then we discussed what is constitution, functions of constitution, okay, and in between now we have talked about, you know, what are the books that should be read and approach, okay. I think I'm clearly giving each topic and I'm discussing.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is all basics, okay, all basics, because all basic points has to be told. Now after preamble, I'll go in this order: salient features of Indian Constitution. Then we will be talking about union and its and citizenship and other things. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Because it's like this, you know, when directly I enter preamble, suddenly it will be like, you know, hitting you with a lot of technical terms. So the background has to be told. Okay, that is why we discussed basic things like polity, components of polity, what is formal, institution, informal, what is statutory, non-statutory. So these are the basic terms which will help you to understand better preamble and other things. So these are the base words, terminologies that you must understand. Okay, fine. So once we start with preamble, it will be like same as in the textbook. Okay, so don't worry. Yeah, next.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, my doubt is when you talked about informal institutions, those institutions are those which are capable of influencing the public opinion, right?
Not only capable, we can say whichever tries to influence. Not all institutions are capable, and yeah, any institution which tries to influence can be called as civil society. Yes.
Yes, sir. And in that you told regarding media, what is related to only news. So, sir, my doubt is what about this movies and other talk shows which are able to influence people's opinion?
People's general opinion is different. Your political opinion. Okay. So,
okay.
Your any
that's where I felt confused, sir.
Yeah. If it is talking something just related to culture and something cinema, okay, or some general issue and all, we cannot call it as polity. Anything which concerns the public is what we call it as polity. And that institutions which try to do it, civil society. No, the point is, it is a very thin line once again. Okay, there may be arguments on what is civil society and not civil society, but those which is involved in politics, you can very well say that it is a civil society and write it in the paper.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So to clarify the examiner, supposing if I want to claim Republic TV as a civil society, okay, I'm just telling it for joke. I'm strongly critical about Republican TV. Okay, I don't believe they are doing the right role. But anyway, okay, now I want to convey to the examiner that I am assuming that Republican TV is civil society. We can say that the Republican TV influences the people's mind. So civil society such as Republic TV can be called as a pressure group. Now what I'm doing is, now not only I am describing something as a civil society, I'm also giving a reason why it is a civil society within the answer. So the examiner, even if he doesn't agree, supposing I'm in evaluating, I'll agree with your point. This is a way of answering. Did you understand what I said? Okay, so go for the next one then. 3.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir, my doubt is regarding police union, sir. Whether what would be it would be taken as, sir? Whether it can be considered as a statutory body or non-statutory body, sir? Because if police union strikes means then they can influence the government decision. So can you elaborate on that?
Police union is a pressure group. Usually, some states allow for police union, some states do not. Okay, it is called as institutional pressure group. That is government institution only, but it is not formed from the government side, but the employees among themselves create this institution, so it is a pressure group. Okay, it is informal, not recognized by law.
Okay, sir. My another doubt is, sir, you said that the Muslims were a part of our country are not, they are not leaving our country because we are secular. Apart from secularism, we can also state that if they move to Pakistan, they would be a majority there. They would not be entitled to the benefits of the minorities. So would that be also taken as the reason? So would that be taken as a deliberate reason for them to stay here, sir, so as to enjoy minority benefits?
No, you just tell me. See, point is a point. I'm instead of contesting your point, I would like to ask the question: which point, when you give us an answer in the IAS examination, you will get more marks? The point I said, or the point which you are now saying, no? Which point, if you write in the examination, you will get more marks?
What you said, sir.
Yeah. Because we can say that there is another reason. Muslims did not leave India because their property is here. For some Muslims, they were saying in southern part of India, for them traveling to Pakistan is a costlier affair. Okay. Then even though they go to Pakistan, they'll be treated as a secondary grade citizens because it'll be like residents versus migrants. Okay. So those points can be written. But the point I said, it glorifies India. It actually substantiates, it talks about the beautiful nature of our Indian constitution, a positive outlook of our Indian nation. Okay, so that point will have to come first. Then as the last point, one of the reasons you may add on, I would suggest, you stick with a holistic thing. Okay, this specifically, we may stop away from, or we should avoid blaming any community in paper. Okay, keep that in mind.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. I should appreciate, questions like this are very important, not only for you, for all the people, because every fresher will make the same mistake. To fine tune and give answer like a bureaucrat, it takes time. Okay, that will happen only through lot of interactions and lot of doubts like this. So I'm really impressed with your initiative. Yes, next one. Three seven eight.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Regarding the Indian polity book, which edition we should prefer, sir? Because I already have the 5th edition. So now the 6th edition is released, which contains some new chapters. So should I buy the new one, or can I stick with the
5th edition itself is enough? Have you started reading?
Yeah, sir. Like the initial part, history of constitution, I have started reading.
Okay. See, 5th edition itself is good because whatever has been added is recent current affairs only. Okay. So that will be anyway covered in current affairs. That is newspapers, recent discussions and all. Okay. So if you have 5th edition, you can continue with that, no problem. But for those who have still not started, you have to go by the fresh updated one. And in the updated one also, there are a lot of chapters which can be avoided. Okay, so only those recent events that he has updated, that only you have to check. Okay, that one day you can take some of your friend's book and just cross check. The extra point alone you can add. That's all. And that is also will be covered in class. Don't worry. So follow the 5th edition.
Okay, it will be mostly regarding the Kashmir issue, right, sir?
Yeah, Kashmir you skipped. The Jammu and Kashmir chapter they've skipped in the new edition. In the 5th edition, you skipped the Jammu and Kashmir edition. Only 4 points are there that I will teach in the class. The 4 points which is for Jammu and Kashmir. Once again, that is same as Pondicherry, that's all. What are the provisions applicable to Pondicherry will be applicable for Jammu and Kashmir, that's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Three 666.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. This is Sivapriya.
Yeah, Sivapriya, yes.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding the point you told in convincing that answer no regarding Republican TV. At that time, Mr. Sir, can you tell me again? It's even though the fact is somewhat not convincing, but I have to prove some additional information which will prompt you to get more marks or something. The point you told is a doubt, no, sir, for I guess Shruti's doubt.
Regarding which topic?
Regarding media, Republican TV plays a major role in influencing the people to take part in polity.
Okay, I'll give it with another example, okay, so that you can easily understand. Okay. 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 Now, supposing you want to talk about the recent discussion in social media, okay, which is influencing the public mind. Okay. Maybe the comments on Chinese products, ban on Chinese products. Okay, so a lot of comments is made. Now you are writing an answer telling that those comments is part of civil society activity. Okay, now instead of writing civil society activity like social media comments on ban on Chinese product, okay, instead of writing like that, if you write like the demand for ban on Chinese products in the social media has actually influenced the central government, and the central government have increased the tariffs and have banned many apps which is having a background of Chinese, and hence the comments on the ban on Chinese products is a civil society act. Now what is the difference? In earlier thing, you are directly categorizing that this particular act in social media is a civil society act. If you write that, sometimes the evaluator may not be convinced, because he may think that civil society means the traditional civil society, only NGOs, media, political party, or pressure groups like that. Okay, social media he may not consider, but you are giving a new interpretation. Social media is also a civil society. So you may be having a doubt whether this statement is correct or not. At that time, you convince the examiner by explaining why you are calling it as a civil society. You are calling the social media debate as a civil society act because they have given the comment and it has influenced the government as government has taken a decision. Likewise, in case of Republican TV, when you say Republican TV is a civil society, you may say that based on their television debates every day, they are shaping the public opinion. Sometimes it has initiated action in the government or influenced the thinking of the government. Hence, Republican TV is a civil society. So wherever definition problem is there, that will happen in polity. Okay, sometimes when you call a group as minority, when you call something as fundamentalism, when you call a act as a terrorism, when you call something as anti-national. Okay, so the anti-national is a very famous phrase, right? Anti-national. So like that, you just put like anti-national. Those who are thinking in an opposite way will not be convinced. They will feel that you are politically oriented. But if you write anti-national because this person has breached this Sedition Act, or according to Sedition Act it is an anti-national act, according to Official Secrets Act, according to the sovereignty of India, he is involved in this act, so he is an anti-national, anti-Indian. Like that, if you score, the word will not be very sensitive. You will be convincing in using that word.
Okay, so that can be developed through further reading and writing practice.
Discussion, yes, of course.
Okay, sir. And one more doubt, sir. Regarding that list of prime ministers or presidents, some of the articles, and finance ministers list, do we have to memorize, sir? Or
no need.
It will come.
Need. You see, like I said, you just read Indian modern history and political consolidation of India, post-independence consolidation of India, then Indian polity, cover our entire syllabus without bothering to memorize. At the end of the day, when you cover around 60% of the syllabus, these things you are mentioning, it will be in your memory. You will not remember exact date in which finance minister changed, but you will know from 1980 to 84 who was there, 1981 who was there, When that is neoliberal reforms were made, who was the finance minister? When we went for rapid industrialization, who was the finance minister? When 1962 war, who was the foreign minister? Who was the prime minister during Kargil? Okay, so everything you will remember, not because you have memorized, but historical link, because you know the story behind it.
Okay, sir.
Got
Thank
it?
you, sir.
So now you don't worry. When
Got
you
it.
don't remember, don't worry. Complete the syllabus by associate. It is called, the technique is called as associate memory. It is psychology. What I'm saying is psychology. When you learn a new thing, you're trying to associate with already learned. Both things, what you learned already, the newly learned things, both will go into your memory. Okay, so what happens is, when you want to write in the paper, automatically the year will come, the person's name will come, the facts related to that also will come. This is how I learned. I never memorized, but now I'm able to say many things because of associate memory only.
Okay, sir. Yeah, got it, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Next. 888. Okay, that's a very good number. 888. Yes. 888. You can ask question. Sorry. 714. Yes. Yes, 714.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, sorry, sir. That time when you asked a question, my signal was not good, so I was not able to answer.
Okay, fine. Yes,
Sir,
now.
also you said about that Rajasthan government example, no, sir.
Yes.
In that, the speaker should, the speaker should give the final decision for the disqualification of that 7 members, no, sir.
Yes, as per law, as per anti-defection law, yes.
Yes, sir. So you sir, as the speaker is, sir, if the speaker is BJP, if the elected speaker is a BJP, then he could also take a decision, sir.
Yes.
And my other doubt is regarding that you told the functions of the constitution, no, sir.
Yes.
So can you, I got a doubt for the second and third point, that is allocating power and limits the power of the state.
A simple allocating power is who will make law, parliament, how the parliament is elected, who will implement the law, prime minister and his council of ministers, what are their functions, Supreme Court, High Court, who will adjudicate law, what is their powers. This allocation of power is done by constitution. That is the point. And when they are acting, what will be their limitations on their power? They cannot act excessively. Like I told, no, in anti-defection, judiciary cannot interfere. Likewise, executive, no, they cannot interfere with the power of a certain speaker. And fundamental rights part is there. The executive can have full powers, but they are limited by fundamental rights. So we can say that the constitution not only talks about giving power to executive, legislature, judiciary, it talks about their limitations of power, the range of power, scope of power, how far they can act.
So then about non-statutory bodies, sir.
Sorry?
Non-statutory body.
Yes.
Sir, in that you told that no power advisory but is not binding. I can't understand that point, sir.
Non-statutory means they can give only advice. For example, Niti Aayog can say that, you go and take investment from today's newspaper, no? The central government is saying that it is inviting more US companies to invest in India. Okay, this is one of the advice by Niti Aayog. The advice can be taken by the government, cannot be taken by the government. This is what we are saying, not binding. The word binding means the government should obey. Not binding means the government may obey, may not obey. When I say Niti Aayog's advice is not binding, the government need not listen to Niti Aayog. But constitutional bodies, okay, their opinions, like election commission, no, when it gives a certificate that this person has won from this constituency, it is binding on the government. Government cannot say no for it. The word binding means
Sir,
obey. It should be implemented. It should be
sir,
followed.
what is the difference between Then what is the difference between statutory and a non-statutory, sir?
Yeah. I've put a tabular column and I explained, right? That tabular column you copied?
Yes, sir, I copied, sir. I wrote.
Fine. So to put it simply, statutory bodies are created by law, parliament law. Non-statutory
Yes,
bodies
sir.
are created by Prime Minister. Since statutory bodies are created by law, it has powers. It can exercise some powers. That is, they need not wait for order from the Prime Minister. They can independently decide, like RBI, on certain things they can decide by themselves. But non-statutory bodies, whatever they discuss there and say that is only advice, recommendation, finally Prime Minister only has to issue order for its implementation. So statutory bodies has powers, non-statutory powers will not have powers.
So statutory body can give any power, sir?
No, statutory bodies can have powers that is mentioned in respective law. For each statutory body, it is created by one parliamentary law. For example, you have RBI one separate law is there. SEBI a separate law is there. National Company Law Tribunal NCLT is there. That has a separate law. So every law creates a separate statutory institution and they will define what are the powers they can exercise. So what exactly is the power will be defined in the law. Based on that they can act. The powers are not same, but the common point is if a body is created by the legislature, that body will exercise powers that is mentioned in that particular law.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Are you able to understand? If not, you can ask out in Tamil. If you want me to explain in Tamil also, I can do that.
I'm not a Tamilian, sir.
Okay. Where are you from?
From Andhra Pradesh.
AP. Okay. I'll try to put it in a language that you can understand at least. You are understood what I said?
Yes, I understand, but a slight confusion, sir.
See, power means if I say Sathyapaul has power, it means I can decide. I have a power to decide when to end the class. Right? It is 1:30 or 2 o'clock or 2:30, I can decide, right?
Yes, sir.
This power, this is called power. That is, I can choose what to do. I am exercising it because Vaishnavi ma'am, the organization has given me the power. Okay, so consider them, they are the parliament. Vaishnavi ma'am, Chandru sir, they are the parliament. They have created a rule and they have said that independent faculty can decide when the decision can be taken. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, they may state the rule and say that non-teaching faculty cannot take that decision. Okay. So now parliamentary rule says they define what is the power that should be exercised. Same way, statutory institutions, the word statute means law. Statutory institution means parliament will come and create law and give power.
Okay, sir.
Okay, parliament will come, they will create law and give power, they can exercise. Whereas when we say non-statutory body, they are not created by law, they are created by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, Prime Minister Modi and his Council of Minister. In case of Andhra Pradesh, your Chief Minister Y.S. Jagmohan Reddy and his Council of Ministers, without going to their state legislature, state assembly, they will issue an order by themselves. For example, schemes and all they are creating, like that they will create. So they are non-statutory bodies. Committee, commissions, advisory bodies, they are all committees. Okay.
So that so PM Modi has enacted an act called Atmanirbhar package. Is that it will come under non-statutory body, no, sir?
Prime Minister has enacted what is it? Come again?
Atmanirbhar.
No, that is a policy. Atmanirbhar is a policy. The concept of self-reliance is a policy. Okay. Now, what is the policy? Tomorrow I'll discuss. When I discuss the constitution law, there I will be discussing what is the policy. Okay, so policy is, the general direction in which government will go. Okay, for example, Y.S. Jagmohan Reddy, when he started the government, he said that development for all regions of Andhra. This is a policy. This is not a one specific decision. This is not a rule, specific order to a particular IAS officer to implement a thing or to a minister. It's a general policy telling the public, whatever decision I'm going to take, the decision will be based on this one policy, that is, all the regions of Andhra Pradesh should be developed. Okay, so Atmanirbhar is a policy. Now, supposing same Prime Minister is constituting a body of experts, say he's calling two economists, two judges, two IAS officers, he forms a committee and tell that, you go and make a research, make a study and give recommendations, telling that, what and all should be done to implement this Atmanirbhar policy, self-reliance policy. That committee will be called as non-statutory body.
Okay, sir.
Okay, body means a group of individuals. Atmanirbhar is a policy. It is a direction. I think now we are able to understand non-statutory body, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. What is it? Jyoti?
Hello?
Your name? What is the name?
Sathyapaul, sir.
Sorry, Atipriya.
Sathyapaul, sir.
Arti. Okay, done. Thank you, Atipriya. Yes. Three, 5, 8.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir, I have a doubt on the GS2 syllabus, sir. What they mentioned was a pressure group, like a formal or informal association, their role in the polity. But as you said, pressure groups are institutions made by the people. They are only informal groups. Can you say some example for formal pressure groups?
One person was discussing about police union, right? Police union. We were talking about RSS. We were talking about.
Sir, RSS are informal pressure groups.
Within informal pressure groups, they are formal in the sense, they have an organization set up. See, contextual meaning is there.
Okay.
Overall polity, formal means created by government, informal means this. In GS syllabus, they are saying within pressure groups, if they are using formal and informal associations like that, if they are using formal associations is one which is having organization. Informal associations will not have organization. Okay, for example, Narmada Bacho Andalan, they don't have an organization. Okay, then we have farmers protests. Okay, that is informal association. Social media, informal association. Okay, Jallikattu protests, informal association. Okay, are you able to understand now?
Yes, sir, I got it.
There, the key word is formal political institutions, informal political institutions. Under formal political institutions, we have executive, legislature, constitutional body, statutory, non-statutory body. Under the informal political institutions, we have pressure groups, political parties, etc. Under pressure groups, we have formal associations and informal associations. Formal associations are one which have organizational structure like RSS, AITUC, etc. Social movements, people's movement like Narmada Bachao Andalan, they are all non-formal associations.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 4 to 8, yes.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
சார் ஆக்சுவலி சிவில்னா நான் வந்து என்ன படிச்சேன்னா பீப்புளுக்காக வேலை செய்யறவங்க சிவில்னு படிச்சேன் சார் ஆக்சுவலி.
ஓகே.
இப்போ இதுல வந்து ஆக்டிவ் இன் கரெக்டான சார் ஆக்சுவலி சிவில்னா ஒன்லி ஃபார் பீப்புள் தானே சார் ஆக்சுவலி?
பாலிடிக்ஸ்னா என்ன?
பீப்புள் சர்வீஸ்.
பாலிடிக்ஸ்னா என்ன?
பாலிடிக்ஸ்னா இட்ஸ் ஃபார் பீப்புள் தான் சார். It's a public decision making
ஆமா
process
பொது
to resolve public conflict.
வெரி குட். பொது பிரச்சனைகளே தீர்க்கக்கூடிய ஒரு விஷயம் தான் பாலிடிக்ஸ் இல்லையா? அரசியல் என்பது பொது பிரச்சனைகளை தீர்த்து பொது மக்களுடைய நல்வாழ்வுக்காக செய்யற எல்லா காரியங்களையும் வந்து நம்ம அரசியல். ஸோ ஆக்டிவ் பாலிடிக்ஸ் அப்படின்னா பீப்புள்ஸ் வெல்ஃபேருக்காக பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்றது சிவில் தான். ஸோ நீங்க கொடுக்குற டெஃபினிஷனும் கரெக்டாக வேற வேர்ட்ஸ்ல கொடுக்குறீங்க, அவ்வளவுதான். ஸோ சிவில்ன்றது பொது வாழ்வில் ஈடுபட்டு இருக்கக்கூடியது, பொது வாழ்வு சார்ந்த விஷயங்களை சார்ந்த நிறுவனங்களை நம்ம வந்து சிவில் சொசைட்டி அப்படின்னு வந்து நம்ம சொல்லுவோம்.
ஓகே சார். அண்ட் ஒரு காமன் டவுட் சார், இப்போ நம்ம நியூஸ் பேப்பர் எடிட்டோரியல் படிக்கிறோம் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க.
அப்ப எடிட்டோரியல் படிக்கும் போது நிறைய அந்த வெக்கபுலரி வேர்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வருது சார். அது நிறைய இது என்னால புரிஞ்சுக்கவே முடியல. அது எப்படி சார் நம்ம எக்ஸாம்ல பிரசன்ட் பண்றது? அந்த வேர்ட்ஸ் தான் மென்ஷன் பண்ண மாதிரி நம்ம ஓன் வேர்ட்ஸ்ல எழுதலாமா சார்?
உங்க ஓன் வேர்ட்ஸ் நீங்க அதை படிக்க படிக்க உங்களுக்கு ஃபெமிலியர் ஆயிருங்க. ஹிந்துல மிஞ்சி மீறி போனா ஒரு 500 வேர்ட்ஸுங்க. அரசு சார்ந்த கவர்மெண்ட் அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் ரிலேட்டடா ஒரு 400 to 500 வேர்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும். அதுவே ஜாஸ்தி நான் சொல்றது. ஒரு மினிமம் நீங்க ஒரு 100 வேர்ட்ஸ் கிளியரா இருந்தா கூட போதும், எக்ஸாம் கிளியர் பண்ணிடலாம். அது வந்து ரெகுலர் ரீடிங்ல ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா வந்துடும்.
இப்ப அந்த எடிட்டோரியல் இருக்கிற அந்த வேர்ட்ஸ் எதுனாதான் நம்மளுக்கு மார்க் உண்டா இல்ல ஆர்டினரி வேர்ட்ஸ்க்கே மார்க் போடுவாங்களா?
அந்த மீனிங் நீங்க கன்வே பண்ணீங்கன்னா போதும். இப்போ நீங்க சிவில் சொசைட்டிக்கு நீங்க எழுதுன டெஃபினிஷனுக்கும் மார்க் கொடுப்பாங்க.
ஓகே சார். இல்ல நான் அந்த ஹையர் மார்க் வைஸ் கேக்குறேன் சார். அவங்களுக்கு அந்த ஹையர் மார்க் கொடுப்பாங்க சார்?
ஹையர் மார்க் வந்து ஹை லெவல் வேர்ட் யூஸ் பண்றது இல்ல. நீங்க எப்படி வந்து ரிலேட்டடா எழுதுறீங்க ஆன்சர்ன்றத, நீங்க கேட்ட கேள்விக்கு அப்ராப்ரியேட்டா பதில் சொல்லிருக்கீங்களா, கரெக்டான எக்ஸாம்பிள் உங்களால பொருந்த எழுத முடியுதான்னு தான் பார்ப்பாங்க.
ரொம்ப நம்ம வெக்கபுலரி யூஸ் பண்ணாலும் உங்களுக்கு டென்ஷன் ஆயிடுமா சார் திருத்தும் போது?
புரியலன்னா என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? நீங்க இந்து நியூஸ் பேப்பர் படிக்கிறீங்க, நார்த் இந்தியால திருத்துறவங்க நார்த் இந்தியால எல்லாம் டைம்ஸ் ஆஃப் இந்தியா தான் படிக்கிறாங்க.
ஆமா சார்.
இந்து நியூஸ் பேப்பர்
உங்களுக்கு
ஒரு செலக்டட் குரூப் தான் படிப்பாங்க. ஸோ
ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார்.
நான் எழுதும்போது நானே ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் சர்வீஸ்ல நாங்கள் எழுதும்போது ஏதோ ஒரு டெக்னிக்கல் ஹை லெவல் வேர்டு எழுதுனா பக்கத்துலேயே அதுக்கு அர்த்தமும் எழுதிடுவோம் பிராக்கெட்குள்ள.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார்.
ஏன்னா நமக்கு தேவை நம்ம விஷயத்தை கன்வே பண்ணும், அதுதான் நம்மளோட எய்மா இருக்குமே தவிர்த்து நம்மளோட வொகாபுலரியோட இதை காமிக்கணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் சார்.
ஓகே, நீங்க ரெகுலர் பண்ணீங்க. கிளாஸ்ல நான் நிறைய சொல்லிடுவேன். ஏன்னா பொதுவா வந்து எக்ஸாமுக்கு தேவையான வேர்ட்ஸ் இதுல எடிட்டோரியல் யூஸ் பண்றது கிளாஸ்ல வந்து நான் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிடுவேன் எலாபரேட்டா. ஸோ உங்களுக்கு கிளாஸ் அட்டென்ட் பண்ண ஈஸி ஆயிடும்.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் சார்.
தேங்க்யூ. யூ ஆர் வெல்கம். Zero 62. You can speak now. You're on air. You can speak. Yeah. Please speak. There is some problem on your side. It seems we are not able to hear you.
Can we able to? Hello.
I'm sorry. Triple eight. Yes. Now we have come back.
Sir.
Yes, 888. What is your name?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, sir. I forgot. My name is Arjun, sir.
Saravana Rajesh. Am I right?
No, sorry. Sir, my name is Arjun.
Arjun.
Sir. So I have a question about something you spoke of today. So you said that the UPSC, for example, is a constitutional body that operates independently and performs its functions, executes its functions autonomously of the executive. Now, this is related. My question is related to a set of news articles that appeared maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where they said that the Council of Ministers is putting pressure on the Department of Personnel and Training to bring down the age limit for the UPSC. Now, does the DOPT come under the purview of the Ministry of HRD, or does it come under the UPSC?
Now, here, the constitution clearly defined, in which areas the UPSC will be autonomy. In case of selecting the candidate, conduct of the examination, government cannot interfere. but the overall age limit and other things can be decided by the government, and the government can decide with the advice from the UPSC. Government should take advice from UPSC. That is mandatory.
All right. So it serves in an advisory capacity as well. Not just doesn't just operate; it also advises the government on the kind of approach to be taken into the government.
The statutory body, constitutional body, non-statutory body, you have to understand that it is relative only. Constitutional body is relatively autonomy compared to statutory body. Statutory body is relatively compared to non-statutory body. Sometimes even constitutional bodies has less powers. For example, Finance Commission, no? Whatever advice it gives, it is not binding on the government. Okay. So that exceptional, that small, provisions, differentiations, we will learn later when we come to each of the institutions. Okay, but overall, a constitutional body will be in its core function.
So in this case, you can't say that constitutional bodies have absolute autonomy. They are controlled to some degree by the government or the executive.
I agree with you. That is what I'm saying. For freshers, if I tell them that UPSC is autonomous, but in some cases it is not autonomous, it is only advisory body, they'll get confused. So in base classes, what we will say is UPSC is autonomy. When it comes to UPSC, actually, we will say that what are the binding powers of UPSC, what are the advisory role of UPSC, what are the administrative role, what are the judicial role of UPSC. Like that, we will divide and see each one of them. Okay. So that exceptional part, leave it. We'll wait when I agree with your point, but that will be discussed when we come to UPSC. Right now, we are studying constitutional body in relation with statutory body. Constitutional body is absolutely autonomous compared to statutory body. We are using the word absolute here for understanding purpose of a fresher. So for you go to a baby and a child, and you are explaining some science concept. Okay. You will explain that mass is constant. Like suppose physics, let us take, the weight of this chair is say 10 kg, it will be 10 kg everywhere, that's all. But if I argue as a physicist, I am an expert in physics also, I would say Huygens principle of uncertainty is there. In certain dimensions of space and time, the weight of the same chair may vary, it may not be the same, right? Okay, when the chair is in motion, its weight is not the same. When chair is measured relatively, in the speed of the light, when it travels in the speed of the light, it is different. Are you able to understand this? So first, beginning, we will tell only the basic and very sharply. After that, we will unravel the exceptional things. So in certain cases, it's good that you clarify. Okay, so for freshers, things will go on like that. You can get clarified like this. Not a problem. Got it? Arjun, are you in line? 888. Not 7, no? 888. Is unmuted? Okay. If it, at least just send a yes in the chat box. Your connection is not great.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir, can we able to change or alter the constitution, sir, which is written by our ancestors?
Yeah, you become the prime minister with super majority, you can do that. But when a political party majority, super majority can change the constitution. And we will be studying about basic structure doctrine. At that time, I'll clarify in detail that basic structure doctrine will prevent you from changing the constitution in its entirely. But there is scope.
Only prime minister can do this.
No. Prime Minister with a majority in the parliament can do that. We'll wait for the class. No, when we come to amendments part, you will understand that. I'll explain all the concepts of super majority and other things. Then only you will clearly understand. We need to talk about the basic things first. Wait until that class,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
amendment class.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you very, very. Thank you.
Welcome. Done. Thank you. So see you in the next class, guys. Okay, till then, happy reading. Okay, start reading polity.